people need to understand the seriousness of this. And then, of course, what's now their role? What can they do? Because they can't all be that bad that there's nothing they can do. So that's where we just pick it up. Okay?
Yeah.
Are we live? Okay, we're live.
Quick question.
So,
we are.
Yes, we're live already. Can you still ask your question? Okay, guys, welcome to this evening session. So we're starting with the HR panel, as discussed earlier, and we have amazing people who are going to do justice. Hopefully, Izu will join us soon. So we have Barrister Yitayo Guyemi here. We also have Lola Thompson from the UK, and hopefully she will be able to. Can somebody help Izu with the link? He said he didn't get the link. Okay, so we're going to be discussing a lot about the post-COVID and how to still navigate this tough season. I know it's been hard on many of us. Some of us watching are already aware of, the job loss. The topic is post-COVID workplace repositioning for employees. So we first want you to understand the challenges going on right now. Then how do you reposition yourself? Because there's always a way out. One of the things I've learned in life, there is always a way out. So it doesn't matter how many people are losing their job, there are always ways you can go about it. And so thank God we have amazing experts, and I'm also happy that one of them is not even Nigeria, so she can give like a global perspective to it. And because we also have a lot of Nigerians in diaspora who watch the show, so we can have at least a global perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start. Ladies first, they say. So can we all say welcome, Lola Thompson? Come on, everybody just type welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As you know, I'm a huge human resource professional. At present, a business strategy executive with a real estate company here in the UK. And I have I would say about 2 decades working experience with multinationals, from private to public, corporates, and all that. And basically, I've worked in project program management, portfolio management, quality control, governance, facilities management, HR. I'm also a certified John Maxwell coach, as well as a Jay Shetty Genius team member. So I bring all this to support everyone here. First, my heart goes out to you if you've lost a job, or if you're in the process of losing one because of COVID-19. I believe it's a good thing. And we'll talk about that as this goes on, because I believe that pressure only brings out the best in you. It's a lot of pressure, but we'll learn how to manage it and how to bring out the best in it. Thank you, guys.
Wow, amazing. I love that intro. Pressure brings out the best in us. Okay, so it's a good thing that this is happening. Barrister Yitayo, your turn.
Thank you for having me at this webinar. Good evening, everybody. And if you've joined us from outside Nigeria, I also say welcome. My name is Yitayo Guyemi. I'm a legal practitioner, and I specialize in labor relations. We do a whole lot of human rights activism. I do labor relations, and the present situation is such that is unique in the history of mankind. It is unique because as lawyers, we've heard more lawyers talk about, look, it's a time for everybody to reason. And we've heard little about this is what the law says, because everybody is volatile. And that's why I said it's quite a peculiar situation.
You guys cannot quote law for us now.
But the basis of this session from the legal perspective would be to help you have a background of how labor relations work generally, then give you competitive advantage, give you points that hit competitive advantage for you. If you are going solo, if your company is restructuring, which is happening a whole lot. Many companies are having to restructure. And the last thing I intend to do is to be very, very frank with you. We need to face it as it is. We need to tell ourselves the truth. And it is in these truths that you will get to know how you can reposition yourself. So you know what is needful and what is not. Those are things that you can be rest assured that you would hear from me during this session. Thank you for having me once again.
Amazing. So I like the way you have put it. So you will not quote right for us, right? Because everybody's the victim here. The employer is a victim, the employee is the victim. So it's not really as if somebody is hating somebody and somebody is trying to, everybody is a victim literally of COVID-19. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality here. Companies are restructuring, they're doing well. I'm glad that we just had the group managing director of Heritage Bank PLC in the last session. I'm glad that he said CBN had approved that all the bank loans that are affected by COVID-19 should be given an extension of 1 year. So I'm glad to hear that, because I mean, I'm also hearing that for the first time. So it means some companies who took loan are not going to just go and sack people anyhow, just basically because of law. At least the banks have said you have 1 year, and that's a lot. That's a lot. That's fair. You have 1 year to restructure and things like that. So I saw Izu earlier, but he disappeared again. Okay. So, but we're just going to go ahead with the discussion. And guys, those of you watching us from all over the world, thank you for joining us. Remember to invite as many people as possible. I think this is one of the most important segments of the entire 3-day conference, because we have a larger number of people who are employees and whose job has been affected by this. And as much as we've discussed a lot around businesses, whatever we do, many people will still need a job. That's just the reality here. We all cannot start a business. Many of us are not even wired to start a business. So we really need this session. So go ahead and start typing your questions for these people. Basically, like we said, we're discussing. I can see Andy Love from UK. Thank you. We have somebody from UK too to give us a UK perspective. So
I told you that's not done.
Huh? Come again, Isu, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
this
how
Lagos.
Welcome. So we just need you to introduce yourself and tell us the perspective you are going to be giving to this discussion. Post-COVID repositioning for employees. Please go ahead.
Okay, hi guys, how you doing? Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me?
We can see you and we can hear you.
Okay, happy. I see Mr. Itayo. How you doing, sir? I see you're one of the doves. You're one of the doves that we sent out to check whether the road is clear. You know that Noah dove. I see you already.
And
you're already
we'll come
outside
back
of the world.
safely.
We're waiting for the feedback. We're still at home, So my apologies. My apologies first of all for showing up a bit late.
Not greet the only lady in our midst. That's bad of you.
Sorry, there's only one person I'm seeing here. Let me change my view.
Rude. That's fucking rude.
Let me change my view. I've not seen anybody. Oh, Lala Thompson, I see her now. I didn't see anyone. Matter of fact, my view was on one person. You know when you talk and it shows your face quickly. So that's why I saw Itayo. Mrs. Lola.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
We're very fine. We're fine. Very well. So since I'm greeting, I think it just makes sense to say hello to everyone as well. How's everything going? Okay. So, HR, I'm here to talk about the levels of leadership, right, as a way to eliminate waste. It's about eliminating waste, really. It's about eliminating waste. Everyone keeps saying, how can you make more money? How can you make more money? How can you make money? But I think the first step for finance is not to try to make money, is to first of all reduce costs. So hopefully by God's grace, I'll be able to give some few templates on how people can look at how to eliminate people who are not very, very productive in this time. I mean, if you are an employee and you've been told to stay at home for over 1 month and nobody in the company has called to give you any work and you think you're on vacation, right? You might just be on your way to termination letter, right? In other words, how relevant have you been? How much can they do without you? So I think that's the major part of where I come from. What have I missed in the party?
Fantastic. So we just all introduce ourselves. You need to introduce yourself, your name, your company, and then we go straight into it. We have people from Germany, from Dubai, from the UK, from Italy. So our conversation has to be a global perspective because we have people from different parts of the world. We're streaming on Facebook, on Instagram, on Periscope. So we have people watching us from all over the world. So Izu, go ahead, introduce your name, the company you work for, and what you guys do.
Okay, so the name of my firm is Xavier. So I'm the MD of Xavier. We're basically a business and management consulting firm. My core is in strategy, whether it's startup strategy, corporate restructuring, and then follow through of that with strategic management. So once again, my name is Izu. Just call me Izu. Izu spelled is E-I-Z-U. I'm a management consultant. I spent 10 years basically restructuring businesses. I have over 100 clients, including our most powerful and extremely highly prioritized GTEx, even though most of the time I get on his nerves by showing up a bit late. This is my 6th session today, six. So I'm very sorry once again. I have 2 MBAs. My background is in sciences. My actual first degree is in mathematics before MBAs. I have over 10 certifications. I think that's all that we need to know, right?
Yeah.
So I feel good and honored to be here.
I think one of your MBA is also in HR. So
yes,
you're
absolutely
in being able to add value to all of us here. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you for joining. I appreciate it. Madam Lola, thank you for showing up despite the short notice. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much. So let's go straight into this, right? But while we're waiting for the attendees to start typing their questions, the first thing I want to say is it just for companies to sack employees in this season? Okay, is it just? Because we need to start from that point. I've heard conversations around this is when you will know whether your company really loves you or not. I've heard a lot of conversations around that. But is it just? Because that's where we need to start. So if I'm fired under whatever excuse, is it even just that we just had 6 weeks lockdown? We understand that in London it's about 8 weeks. We understand that in Italy it's more than that. So about 4 months now. But is it just for any employer to let go anyone right now? I want to start with Izu, then I move to Itayo, then I move to Lola. The reason being that Izu work is usually why they usually sack people. So it tells us what's their perspective. Then by Itayo tells us the legal perspective, and then we have the I mean, the mother in the house, give us the motherly feel to this whole equation. Okay, so let's go.
Okay, so first of all, this is just a depiction of our leadership styles showing up. You know, like I like to say, if you're a writer, you find yourself writing a lot of books that have to do with the kind of books you love to read. In other words, if you're a writer, you write the kind of books you love to read. If you're a singer, you also sing kind of songs you have to listen to. So before even coming from a HR perspective, I rather come from a CEO perspective, because I also run the business and have team members, right? As a CEO of a company, we are reminded first that the ultimate goal of a company is to add value profitably. Value profitably, keyword profit, second word value, right? In the hierarchy of importance in an organization, right? Customer comes first, right? Then employees. Now, in that order of hierarchy, nobody ever got employed or even applied to be employed by love. The application, when you apply, did not say you are applying and looking for the position of love, right? So love is important to have, but it's not the primary standpoint of a business. If you want to make everybody happy, you sell ice cream, right? That's my central ideology to it. Right now, if you notice what's happening globally, right? Everybody is in a struggle for survival. The truth about life is a lot of the sentiment we put in business, right, is secondary, the same way as in life. When push comes to shove, what we realize is everybody goes back to their tent with a basic instinct. And the basic instinct of a human being is survival before anything else, right? So if as a survival instinct, the only way you can keep your business afloat is to reduce costs. And if I talk by figures, we would realize that the biggest cost in almost every company is salaries, probably next to rent, depending on what you run, and then cost of sales. So it's only ideal that if you want to cut down costs, we start from the highest cost, right? So my standpoint about this, first of all, is if you're in a situation where there is nothing else you can do to reduce costs, the first thing you want to do is to downsize. I strongly believe, and this is, once again, personal first, but I can back this up by theories, technical theories around management. One of them is that business is set up to make profits. So the biggest threat you need to keep watching is how is your profit being reduced. Two is employment is not a blood covenant. It is not a marriage, right? And I think that for people who would feel really bad for being laid off, right? The truth about it is it's a painful place to be in. I'm actually more concerned about the process of laying people off, right? I'm more concerned about the process. I'm actually more concerned about the process of laying people off than the question of whether you're going to lay people off. I think you can lay people off as to set them up for a comeback. In other words, if you lay people off right, they will be grateful for it in the next 3 years. I don't think that you should keep people that don't add value in your company, right? Or don't add enough value to satisfy your cost-benefit analysis, right? In your company just because you want to be a nice guy. I don't think you're doing the best for yourself or even for that person, right? So my first instinct is, if you think you don't have any other option, which really most companies don't, especially SMEs, don't forget that most SMEs are running on survival mode even before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
If you know you don't have any other thing, first thing you want to start with is to have a honest conversation with your team members and have a moment of clarity. Let them understand the why before the what. If everybody understands the why, sometimes it justifies the what, right? The second option you want to do is position them in such a way that if for any reason your business gets better, they will be your first option for reinstatement. That's why I like the idea of leave without pay, right? It's a very nice and tactical way to lay people off. So if anything gets better, we can bring you back, right? Bear in mind that we're bringing you back not because we have a blood covenant with you to bring you back. We're bringing you back because we think that your value is still needed. Which brings me back to the question I said, that if you've been around for 1 month at home and you're collecting free salary and they have not paid and they have not called you to ask for something that is very strategic, or you yourself have not called your boss up to ask your boss how you can add value. In other words, they don't call you, you will not call, right? Know that you're the first set of people they will lay off, right? Job security is not a school of thought I understand and I can relate with. I belong to the Theory Y managers. Sorry for management guys or guys in HR. They understand the Theory X and the Theory Y. Theory X says everybody loves their job. Everybody wants to work. I belong to the that says you have to give people a good reason to work. And sadly, in Nigeria, let's be honest with ourselves, the good reason is salary. If you think that it's otherwise, decide not to pay your staff for 2 months and see whether they will still come to work. Now, if truly the good reason is, if truly, sorry, I had a call came in. I'll round up in about 2 minutes, just quickly. If truly that good reason, right, is value for value, right, then what role does job security have? If you look at the data in Nigeria, the companies or industries that pride in job security are actually the worst run industries in Nigeria. In other words, all those industries where they don't lay off people, especially in the ground of efficiency. A good example for this is government. Government still is the biggest and most secure job anybody can have. Now let's look at the output of government. So if you check, there's a direct correlation between job security and performance. If people feel too comfortable in an organization, and I think you should treat people well while they're there, but I also think that people should come to a place. I tell my colleagues this, that once you get a job in Xavier, please write on as a personal note to yourself how long you want to work in the company, irrespective of how well we treat you. At least it fuels you to the next stage. So my view about this is simple. If you don't have any other choice to downsize, please downsize, but do it in the most honorable and mutually beneficial way. You can even start off by saying, one of the gifts I'm going to give you is I'm going to pay you off. And I'm also going to pay for your next training that positions you for your next job or your next entrepreneurship journey. I'll be willing to be a mentor for you. If you start a business and you need a client, our company will be ready to buy from you. Right? So there is a mutual understanding and you guys will hug it out. 5 years from now, right, when they see you on the way, they will be grateful for what you did for them. That's my perspective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Izu. Can we all clap for Izu for his amazing contribution? You just use the clap sign across all platforms. Just use the clap sign. Thank you so much for that. I think that is very clear and important. Thank you so much. Delon.
Okay, so thanks once again. Okay, so I think it's going to be very helpful for the listeners to understand the position of the law first. And then we can come to relationship and how to structure it in the sense of post-COVID era. Now, under the law, there are different forms of employees. And there is the class of employees that we'll call statutory employees. Now, these are employees whose position, whose job description, and everything about them is provided for in one law or the other. So usually the law itself would provide for how they should be sacked. Now, quote and unquote, the word sacked. So because of that, it's usually said that workers that have their work or their job description backed by a law, they have job security. But that is a story different from the private sector, where as the practice is, especially in Nigeria, is he who has or he who hires can fire. When we are engaging with employers, we usually would remind them of this stick approach, that they have a right to hire and fire. And when we are engaging employees, because we need to look at this conversation not just from the fact that it's a right that is exclusive to employers, employees as well. This the present situation is going to bet creativity to an extent that a lot of employees would want to voluntarily pull out, because some may not have appreciated the fact that they can survive. They may not even have known that they are as creative as they have expressed, they have manifested through the 6 weeks lockdown and all of that. So we usually tell employees as well that, look, you have a right to sack your boss. It's a mutual thing. Now, where am I going to with all of this? In as much as the principle of employee-employer relationship is built on the foundation of voluntariness, the voluntariness of working with somebody, the voluntariness of saying, look, I'm tired of this relationship for whatsoever reason, and we need to break it. Talk less of a situation where there is an obvious reason. And that brings us to where we are. The question that differentiates the employer from the employee. So if you ask questions relating to employment at this period, you are likely to get different response depending on which side of the curve the person you're asking is. So if you ask an employee questions about this period, or if an employee is to ask you a question, most likely that question would maybe tilt towards something like, what are my rights at this point? Can my employer just single-handedly stop paying me salary? And then if you ask an employer would likely tell you that, look, can I pay salary for money I did not make? Which is a reasonable question as well. Now, I've just tried to lay a foundation for coming to a conclusion that the situation calls for a whole lot of negotiation. But we also need to look at certain things which are very cogent. I had a session where I discussed labor management at this kind of period. And one of the things I pointed out is, if you're an employee and all through the lockdown, your employer had no reason to call on you to do a work, then you might just be getting ready to move out of the employment, because it simply shows that the employer can leave or do without you. And then for the employers, if you are an employer that has not had any reason to call on your employee, then why not just consider the option of converting the employee to a casual, well, so let me not use the word casual workforce now, but to a part-time worker. If an employee is not needed every day, why not convert it to once a week? Why not convert it to twice a week? Or why not even negotiate for, we would give you notice ahead of time that we'll be needing you? And that is the form of negotiation that employers should be looking at the moment. The question is relevance. The second question is, even though we are not making money, how can we, on the basis of integrity and the basis of what we are building, ensure that we make our process an all-inclusive process where we are open to our workforce, such that if anybody has to move on, has to be laid off, the person would understand, and those that will remain in employment would also appreciate that that decision had to be taken. And this is very key, because laying off a staff at this point without following those processes, even though not like there is a law that says you must do it this way. So I've had a balanced view so far. laying off an employee without following those due processes has a way of creating an emotional injury in those that are on board. It simply shows them that, look, you guys are like goats in a cage, and we could take off anybody for the slaughter anytime. So this tells on performance too. And even the employees may not be as conscious as possible about the fact that there is something that is killing their productivity. So this is something that needs to be looked at from a very balanced perspective, such that employers consider their employees as the first clients they have before the clients that pay the money. I believe that I've made some points here, and then let me stop here. Thank you very much.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Why is Stephen? Is he gone? I think we lost him. I'm just going to go ahead. Yeah. First, I want to say, indeed, the question, is it fair to lay off your staff? In terms of fairness, we need to consider all options if we want to really test this for fairness. Is it fair to lay off your team because of COVID-19 issues? If we look at the ideal, have you looked for practical ways to maneuver these difficult times? Because this is a test of leadership. Your performance, it is not COVID-19 that should induce a performance management action from you. Your performance management should have started from the point of recruitment. When you're recruiting your staff, that's when you know, is this the right person fit for the job that I want to put them in? So if you have not had that discussion or that consideration, has COVID-19 suddenly made you think that it is by laying off this person that you considered important for your job at the time? Secondly, have you tried, let's imagine that yes, you recruited the right person. You took the time to get into the details to recruit the right person for the right job before pre-COVID-19. COVID-19 comes and now you have to cut your losses. You have to see, because of course business is for profit, accepted. If you want to cut your losses, have you effectively managed all costs, all extras? Have you sold off the cars? Have you let go the vacation? Have you called your team together and said, can we cut everybody's, if we go across board and reduce everybody's salary by 30% or by 20%, have you done that first? And then you see that you cannot do anything else but lay people off. I think the crisis is a test for leadership. And if it is at this point that a leader is now saying, I'm going to lay people off, that person is showing us the gap in their leadership. Also, if peradventure you have done all that you're meant to do,
yeah,
you have looked for practical ways, you have cut costs effectively through other means, but you still need to lay people off. Now, how are you going to do it? Because it's easy to do that in Nigeria, and Nigeria will soon start working. But when at present, people do anything and they get away with it. But here in the UK, you can't just lay people off. You can't just lay people off because of COVID-19. It's not a cogent enough reason. The government has set up palliative measures to cater for such issues. Assuming all your cost management is not working, then the government is giving you support. If the government support is still not enough, then you should put this person on a layoff, like Itaya said, or I think it was Israel Itaya that said, okay, tell them to go on leave without pay. Because this person is part of your brand. If they were so useless, you wouldn't have had them before COVID-19. Why is it COVID that is making you realize that they were useless to you? Your job, your business is as good as how you treat your employees. I said, if salary is the only reason why people are at your business, you can be certain that you are not a growing business. You are a transition camp. If salary is the only reason why they're at your workplace. So it is a mutual agreement, like Eitayo said. I tell other HR that we're midwives. We're midwives because we have to understand the goals of the company, and we are positioning their team to be able to produce those goals, to be able to effectively achieve those objectives. So it's the mutual beneficiary relationship. It's not a covenant, but it's close to a covenant because you have both contractually agreed that I will play my part and you will play your part. But imagine that the whole team decides to move to your competition because of COVID. Just give it an imagination and they say, no, the competition needs our time more. It's tough. We realize that. And I'm going to summarize again for you to realize I'm talking about the ideal. In the ideal, you need to, first of all, look for practical ways to solve this problem, because it is a problem and it is a test of your leadership. Your team doesn't become valueless because of COVID. They must have been people of value when you were recruiting them from the first place. Your performance management should have engaged them long enough to realize their weaknesses and gaps for your business before COVID. So COVID is not a reason, really. You must have adopted options. You have exhausted all other options. After you have done that, have you now helped to position these people for other jobs? Have you taken them together, giving them a good picture of what is going on, and help them, position them, do a CV writing, give them coaches, give them mentoring, and then say, okay, let's do a development plan. We have done all this. You see, we have slashed salaries. We have cut all extra costs. Now let's move on by doing this. That's the ideal. And in the UK, most European countries and maybe the US, I don't know about most employers have to prove that they've gone through this due process before they lay off people. In Nigeria, I don't think it's that thorough to say you have to prove that you have done this beyond reasonable doubt. Because an employee can take you to the tribunal and it will cost you even more than if you had kept the employee on. The reality, let's face the reality in Nigeria. Sorry, let me just quickly go through these major things that the reality has come to tell us. Yes, the reality is that businesses are for profit. The reality is that your career is your responsibility. So I'm not just going to talk to the businesses. It is key that you as an employee, like Mr. Izu said, once you join an employment, be clear, how long do I want to stay here? What are my goals? And have a contingency plan. If you don't have a contingency plan, then we should question your education. It's only in Nigeria that people go to school to get a job. Most places in the world, people go to school to get a living, to know how to make a living. So if you actually went to school, it is a test of your education. What is your contingency plan? And how can you activate it now that you're in the emergency? Your career is your responsibility. Nobody will manage it for you. You have to plan it yourself. Thank you.
Wow, this has been fire. You have a lot of fans here on Facebook. Somebody said That's the mother. Is that now I can feel motherhood in your submission, madam. Very reasonable point. Okay, so yeah, I'm not surprised. Actually, in fairness to Nigerian context, the government ain't giving anybody money. What the US has done is to pay companies, give companies money to pay their employees. That is not happening in Nigeria. And so some of these things are a bit different in the Nigerian perspective, which is why Nigeria is, I tell people that we have this mutual victimization that we're not even conscious of. You know, everybody in Nigeria just speaks from their own perspective in many cases, but we don't know that we're all victim of, everybody's a victim. The customer is a victim, the business owner is a victim, even many cases, the politicians are also a victim. Because you become a senator today, everybody wants you to give them money. You don't give them money, you're suddenly the bad guy, and everybody will say, bad things about you. Even if you have legislated well, people don't care. The fact that they feel that you had not given enough money to boys, then you're a bad politician. So Nigeria is quite a unique system. But guys, I want all of you watching to start typing your question for our panelists here. We have just 10, 15 minutes to go. It's funny how time flies. So to start typing your question, if you have any question, please go ahead and type and ask them. My own question will be, because we are focusing more on the employees, and I'm hoping that a lot of people here are employees, so they want to see, how do you advise an employee to reposition this season? So we look at it from three perspectives. Number one, if I have lost my job, how do I reposition? If there is a sign that I will lose my job, how do I reposition? If I'm not losing my job, but there will likely be a pay cut, how do I reposition? So we're going to start again with Izu. Let's go.
Value. First of all, to bring value, right, to the panel, everyone can be on the same side, right? So there's a yin yang. So let me be consistent with playing my devil's advocate, right? In terms of confronting the brutal facts, right? I think it brings balance to the argument, and it also creates good value to the spectators. Context is really key. I think context is really key. The context is a lot of Nigerian businesses can't stay afloat if they don't do anything in terms of production and supply, right, in 1 month. Matter of fact, Nigerians in general can't live their lifestyle if they stop doing what they're doing for 1 week. And the COVID and lockdown just showed that clearly, right? By our educational system, we're trained about money, that the only way to make money is to work for it, right? So that's actually sort of, to a large extent, my standpoint on that. Now, for the employees, right, who has been laid off, right? The first thing first is you are almost a bit too late. You're almost a bit too late, right? I think everyone should build the kind of value where when they are laid off, it's easy for them to bounce back, right? I usually say that when you decide to leave a company, or when the company tells you to leave, when you decide to leave a company, there are only two questions the MD of the company can ask you. They can either ask you when or why. They ask you when, in other words, when are you leaving? It means that you have not added value. If they ask you why, it means that they want you to stay, right? So if you are already laid off at this stage, the first thing you need to do is response rates, right? Avoid pity party, first of all. That psychology of pity party is a challenge in itself, right? So understand that pity is not a strategy, self-pity is not a strategy, panic is not a strategy, right? I think what you need to do at this stage is, first of all, it would be skill. Skill. It's so unlikely for a lot of people right now to be able to get laid off, right, and get a job the next 1 week or the next 1 day. I mean, if you take away the faith movement and saying, oh, by grace, God's grace, I will. The truth about it is, people don't just wake up and they are laid off. Let's be open and let's be honest. It's a different conversation if when you got laid off, right, everybody else got laid off or everybody in your department got laid off. Let's not forget that, first of all, there must have been some science behind you being laid off. And one of those science would also be performance. I've had a chance in the last 1 month to compile a list of people that will be laid off. Sadly, that's the bad part of my work. And I do know that we have a scientific parameter to know who should be laid off, right? So the first thing you want to do is find out why you were laid off. First, find out why. Then sit back and work on that why before you get your next job. I do think, and I have a personal problem with this, because for the past, I started being an employee of labor at the age of 22, right? So I've been able to understand certain things, and this is what I call the dilemma of the Nigerian CEO. Nigerian CEOs most times are forced to do the work of what parents should have done for their employees. In other words, a lot of people come into the corporate Nigeria as overgrown adults, right? Now, what it means is this might be your first chance, right? And perhaps a very good point in your life where you can correct some of those things. And that's what I kept saying, before you lay off anybody to the employer, have a frank talk with them. Let people know why they got laid off. It might be a very good gift you're giving them to get a better job. In other words, you can be laid off in a one-man business that has 10 staff, but they told you why you got laid off, and you worked on that why. And the next interview you went for, which you wouldn't have gone for if you weren't laid off, is a Shell or a Chevron interview. You can see how your setback has become a setup for your comeback, right? But if you didn't, first of all, find out why, which I think is the obligation of the employee that got laid off, to say, please, sir, I understand I've been laid off, but please, can I just know for my own personal development why I got laid off? So first step is avoid panic and pity. It's a trap. It's a trap, and there's a spiritual consequences for it. Look, the universe is designed to consistently attack the wounded. It's how the universe works. If you go to ask any animal, I was going to say ask any animal, but any animal that's ever lived in the jungle knows that the first way, right, to instinctively fight is to not walk around like he's wounded. Let me be practical. The day you come back home and as you're walking back from home, they can look at your face, your neighbors, and know that you just got laid off. Just remember that you also lost the chance to borrow money from that guy that told you sorry, because nobody's going to borrow money to somebody that just got laid off and feels like his life's about to end, because we don't know when you're going to pay us back, right? So your confidence is a key survival instinct, right? Don't behave like a no because they told you no, right? Your company told you no, go. You can't act like a no and expect other people to tell you yes, right? So that's one. Two is invest in skill development. A powerful skill everybody needs to get right now, if you got laid off, is digital skill. And I'm sure a lot of guys have flogged this already, so let me not even go there. There are so many digital skills you can learn right now, right? Figure out one, because that might be a way to clot your bleeding. At least you can have small money from teaching people some of those skills, right? That's also something I think you might need to do. Three is cut down your costs when you get laid off, and be real with people. It is not a crime to say you cannot afford things. We're on lockdown, right? So I think the first thing you want to do when you get laid off is look at your expenses and cut it down. It's extremely important. Look at what is essential to you, right? Matter of fact, start with Instagram. If you know you have not made money from Instagram in the last 2 years and you're on Instagram, please delete your Instagram first. At least that will save you data, because Instagram is data. I'm talking to the average guy who is on a salary between 0 to 120K. You cannot be on 120K and you spend 20K a month on data. That's village problem already. That's your village people setting you up. So delete Facebook, delete Twitter, delete Instagram. I don't think you've gotten a job on Instagram before. If your business is Instagram, it makes absolute sense. And I'll be practical with this. I had long deleted my Instagram. This whole Instagram life, I wasn't even part of it in this season, because I came to the conclusion that Instagram has not brought, so data is also important. Look at your data. Cut down your costs. Cut down your liabilities. right? It's extremely important. I think one challenge we have in this country is the average person in Nigeria has 5 people reaching to their small income. An average person, when he collects money, sends money home, sends money to the village, said, look, it's now for you to have frank talk. So even if you're listening from abroad, it's now a good time for you in UK to send a letter to your people and tell them that, look, you got laid off in the UK. They should not expect the remittance they used to expect. So it's, you manage expectation. It's something, because a psychological part of this thing is pressure. And pressure leads people to not being able to see things positively well. Right? Then if you are about to be laid off, in other words, you have not been laid off, most likely we're going to lay you off by 3 things. We're going to lay you off by attitude. So first thing first is, if I'm to compile a list of people that should be laid off in my client's company, the first thing I look out for is performance first. Second is energy. If you're the guy that are consistently being rude to people, bring bad vibe, bring negative, you're obviously going to be laid off. Thirdly is somebody that can multitask. So in other words, if you have not been laid off, ask yourself this brutal question: can I multitask? You cannot say I'm an accountant and all I need to know is Naira and Kobo, nothing else concerns me. You have to be the accountant that can also manage accounts, and not accounts here. It's social media accounts, Facebook accounts, because people are going to collapse 3 jobs for one. So I have to ask, what else can I do in the company that I'm not paid to do? Because the same way promotion is a demonstration of your next position, the same way your current position shows that you can do more than that position, right? Now, another thing we look out for most of the time is somebody that is not going to incur extra cost for us. Extra cost means what you're currently doing, you won't have to rework it. In other words, how even and consistent are your results? So if you're the guy that already has so many errors, for example, you were hired, you cannot send an email out, right? Except that we have to proofread your email before you send it out. Don't forget that we are laid off your boss, so nobody's going to proofread your email anymore. So you have to be able to bring quality. Now, in fact, there is a Japanese word for it. It's called Muda Muri Mura. Muda is look out for people that have waste, eliminate them first. 2 is look out for people that have Muri. Muri means burden. People that have extreme burden, bad negative energy, they're always borrowing money from boss. They're always fighting with people. They're always doing a side business to undermine the company, right? Is one of those things you need to do, their unevenness. Then your last hope in the next few weeks, let's assume that it takes 1 week to compile that list, and you are sure that your name might be on that list, but they have not called your name yet. Please put a call across to your HR. Nigeria is a unique country where social relationship is more valid. I was reading an article and I realized something, that a lot of people think it's genetic, that Black people were the most affected in America with the COVID. You know, a lot of the deaths are Black people. But what we don't realize is culture showing up even in our health. We like to hug, we like to dap, you know, we like to shake. An average Nigerian in a 5-minute culture can shake you 5 times. And that's coronavirus being transferred. Now, what we're driving at in this commission is simple. You can't take away the fact of culture, the role of culture, even in decision-making as who to lay off or who shouldn't lay off. So one of the suggestions I strongly suggest is, right now when you're still at home, put a call across to your HR and play the Nigerian social game, right? Sometimes people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. At least genuinely show that you care. Call your MD up, even if you don't have value to add to your MD. Start with the sisters, start with the children. Look, go out of your way to look for a list of free schools online, maybe Harvard Secondary School. Send that to the boss's children. Let the boss show that you actually genuinely care. If you must buy hand sanitizer and send to your staff as gifts, it might just be one last step you might need to take to save your job. Another thing is compile a nice note with key different options of strategies to save the company, even though you know the company is afloat. Right now, we consider people that have ideas. So let's even be you're not effective, but you even show that you have ideas. Look, you sell in a shop, right? And the shop is on. Can you strategically, right, show us 5 to 10 different steps of things we can do differently, right? I think that's also another strategy. It's extremely important. Survival is an instinct. And when bush comes to shoves, everybody first fights for their survival before anything else. And I think that we understanding this takes away the pain and the anger of thinking that people did not treat us fair. Nobody's going to treat you above what you treat yourself. And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize. This sentiment game in Nigeria and corporate Nigeria is something that I feel like is going overboard, right? The sentiment game in Nigeria is so deep. And I think it's important that people understand that survival is an instinct. And even when you're laid off, for the last people that also got laid off, please do not go into any meeting with your former boss because he laid you off. Do not. If there's even a spiritual tendency, there's a spiritual challenge with that, right? There's even a spiritual challenge with that, because the truth about life is that anger and pain, right, is a major hindrance to open doors, right? So I think that even when they lay you off, still go ahead to send your MD a thank you message, even though that you feel hurt. Take the whole spirit in you, summon it into one email, telling him all the good things you've learned. You might just be shocked, right? That MD that laid you off might just be willing to send your CV to somebody else. And I think it's important to retire with ease. For me that do interviews all the time, when I sit down with a staff, no matter how well you do in an interview, and if I ask you about your former boss and you sound negative about that former boss, you have lost 50-50 chances, you've gotten 50 chances of getting that job, irrespective of what your because we know that if you allow those kind of people come in, they come with something deeper that people don't see. So take it in good faith and move on. Thank you. So over to you, sir.
Let's have, that was a great one. I could see a lot of people say they learned so much. Because of our time, we could reduce our answers to about 2 minutes. Can we have Lola point of view on this?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Izu. I think a number of people got some very nice tips from that. And I'm just going to say 2 things. If you have been laid off, you need to have 2 major things. One is resilience. And resilience is not getting numb and saying, what has just happened? What has just happened? Like you said, pity party. No. What you need to do is extract what you have learned. John Maxwell says sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, and sometimes you learn. Sometimes you learn. So resilience means you experience it. What have I learned? Feel the hurt. Cry if you need to. Go to your room and cry it all out if you need to cry. But feel the hurt. Take that experience. What have I learned? Like he said, and then keep going. Keep going, meaning that that's why, like he said, you need to use it for your next job. Because trust me, as people are laying people off, so are people also employing people. Because some organizations that did not expect the amount of influx they are getting now, they're beginning to get it. All the people that didn't expect, like all the ones selling data, all the telecommunication companies, all the Spectra nets that didn't really have people, now they're getting even more. They need customer service. So they retool, rethink and retool. Then the second one is you have to be innovative. Okay, so one of my, I have an MBA as well, but I'm doing a PhD in entrepreneurship and innovation. And I find that everybody has something to sell. You just need to put capital into it. Every single one of us is the energy you had in where you were working. Sit down and develop a product or develop a service. Think about it. There are so many free, like he said, your data, now direct your data into getting you money. Instead of deleting your Instagram page, why don't you retool it to make you money, to get you clients? Learn your digital. There are so many digital marketing courses everywhere. And a lot of people are looking for digital marketers now because most of the business is done online. So I'll leave you with this. It says, smart people learn from everything and everyone. Average people learn only from their own experiences. But stupid people, they have all the answers.
Mm. That's deep. Yeah, deep.
That's deep.
Oh, deep, oh, deep, oh, deep. Barrister Itayo, please go ahead.
Okay, so the question is, how do you create value in the post-COVID or in the new normal? How do you create value within the system?
Question is, what do you do? Three categories of people. If you have lost your job, how do you begin to reposition?
Okay.
If you are sensing you have not lost your job, but there's a sign you are about to, and then the third category are those who are not losing job but probably they are going to be cash salary cut.
Okay. So let me just drop 3 points. A whole lot has been said. Izu, fantastic ideas, and to only sweetheart in the webinar and and the mother of the webinar. So a whole lot has been said. To start with, the first thing that we should realize is the fact that it used to be the talk of the town that the people you know can get you to the places you want to get to within organizations. But you will find that what this period has done is it has exposed all of these things, and it's no longer sustainable for you to be within a structure and not have relevance. So I'll give you an example. One of the things we've learned in this period is that whether you like it or not, you need a level of flexibility, you need a level of being adaptable, and you need a level of tech knowledge to generate solutions within your organization. So you can imagine somebody that didn't come on board with skills and all of that. The person will definitely find it difficult to cope. And that's going to be a big loss to the establishment. So the first thing you need to start thinking about is, how can I build my skills? What are the basic skills that are relevant? You need to have this Issachar-like approach of understanding this time and having the necessary skills that will make you to be relevant within your structure. Now, the second point I want to make is a point that I even was privileged to hear from Mr. Stephen himself. We've had engagement, conversation regarding the present situation where we find ourselves and all of that. And I like an idea he shared with me. He said, look, this is a period for employees to start looking at the area of most relevance, of high relevance within the organization. And then he gave an example. He said, if it were to be, okay, I think I listened to your online session on that, I think. Yeah, you said that as well in your online session. So he mentioned that if he was in an admin setup, he would rather voluntarily request to move to the marketing setup. And the lesson I want to bring out of that is simple.
Sure.
You need to find a way to look at the two areas within the organization. Number one, which area is hit the most? Which of the areas within the organization is such that they need people? Build your skills around that. That will really help. And the second is, which area, which department of the company is the one that you need, that is of most importance to the company. So for instance, a company that needs to bring in clients, you will know that the marketing is of high importance. You can volunteer and you can build skills in that department. And just in case that you've been laid off, what is that one thing I feel you can do in addition to all that has been said? Volunteering is something that is very good. It is good because you build skills in the course of it. It is good because it also helps you to be intentional. It helps you to come to that understanding that life, you need to demand from life what you want, and life will not necessarily give you what you want. So I remember all the years of my working in paid employment. The fact that I spent just 5 years and I was able to gather experience of more years is because of that point of being intentional. So the job was approached from that voluntary service pattern, such that it is not about the salary, it's about building skills, because it's a seed time. And you must appreciate that seed time, that your harvest will definitely come after all the efforts. So be very intentional. Thank you very much.
You're on mute. You're on mute. You're muted. We can't hear you, sir.
I'll just type thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because I mean, this has been a fantastic conversation. We're gradually coming to a close. But we have a couple of questions, I think 2 more questions as we wrap up. Please, can we all thank you to all our panelists. I've read so much information. Thank you, Izu. Thank you, Mother in the House. I'm reading. Samuel says, thank you for the great info. Bukola says, be innovative with your social media platform. Joel, talking about Lola, it says that this one, Gigon, maybe Gigon. Okay, thank you guys. This has been really insightful. The next question is, how do I get a job in this kind of season? I have put in my CV. I'm in front of an employer. How do I get a job? Now, I want to put this challenge to our speakers. If you want to stretch it, please stretch it. And the question is, how do I get a job in 72 hours in this season? Right? If you think your answer can't work for 72 hours, don't worry, and stretch it to say in 1 month. But let's even try it. 72 hours, how do I get a job? Let's start with Izu.
Okay, I like to be very realistic, extremely realistic. It's very possible to get a job in 24 hours or 72 hours, but it's not common, right? So I'd like to stretch it for maybe, say, a month, right? Because I also think, and I think I stated this, but maybe it wasn't too obvious, is don't get laid off for a reason that you haven't sorted out, only to give that burden to the next employer. I think is witchcraft in itself, right? So if you have a very bad attitude and you got laid off with your bad attitude, don't take it to the next employer. I think it's just outrightly wrong. It's outrightly wrong. In other words, I like to ask people a question. I say, if you knew all you knew about you, will you hire someone exactly like you? Right? If you knew all you knew about you, will you hire someone exactly like you? Right? So I think we need to fix ourselves first before we can fix other people. Right? So that's why I said you need more than 72 hours to even sort out some of the things, right, you didn't get right. Right? So they say you have a lot of, your results are not predictable. Today, you have very good results. The next 1 week, depending on your mood, depending on who made you angry, depending on your whatever happened in your personal life, you bring it to work. I think you should sort that out first. Now, for 1 month, practically, here's what I think. One, Mr. Itayo said it, and I'm going to borrow it again because I think it's really powerful what he said, just so we can restate it again. The easiest way to get a job is freemium. Freemium, right? That your premium service they used to pay you for. Can you convert it to free? Right? Right? Can you convert it to free? So in other words, you're an accountant that got laid off.
Sorry, I'm cutting you. In fairness to Izu, what he's saying is what he's even doing is consultancy. I've seen him post on social media that he's doing bespoke services for companies, coming in, check what their challenges are. And I believe he's been doing many of that for free. And he's even
free.
For
yes.
clients.
Building momentum.
That, yeah. Please go ahead.
So that's really the most practical way, right? Because I like to use the Suya man analogy. You know, I've said this a lot of time. The Suya guys, there's a lot to learn from Malam Mohammed that sells Suya. Oga wants to sell Suya, but doesn't know how well, or how people are not sure how well the Suya tastes. The same way people are not sure of why they should hire you when you just got fired. Just pay attention to that somebody should hire you when you just got fired. Right?
Yeah.
The first thing Malam Mohammed does at Suya is he cuts small piece of that Suya and says, who wants to taste? Right? Once you have a taste of that Suya, right, you decide on whether you want to buy or not. Now, by our mentality in Nigeria, we are very sentimental. So people usually eat the Suya and don't walk away. Right? Personally, if you give me Suya that I don't like, I will tell you that the Suya is not good and I'll walk away. But I do know that not a lot of people have that level of gods, right? Yeah. Don't force me to buy things.
When it's not good, they will still buy.
What?
Even when it's not that good, they will still buy out of
sentiment, right? Okay, so that you can play that game to your favor. So you're an accountant who got laid off for being a bad accountant, right? One of the things you might need to do is go online, right? That's if you haven't taken my advice of deleting your Facebook. Right? Now, I didn't say delete the account. I said delete Facebook as an app, right? Right? If it's not making any value for you. Now, here's what you can do. You can do a nice banner and put up to say, hey, guys, do you need free auditing for your firm? Contact me. You also do what the Malam does. You give the best part of your Suya first. You give the best part. So for a lot of finance guys, they're probably good in cost accounting, they're not good in financial accounting, or they're good in financial accounting, they're not good in project accounting. You give the one you're good at first. You can even be very smart about it and give halfway. That they need more. Then you charge them for more. But they would have been grateful for it. I think that's under the category that I think Barrister Itayo calls volunteering, and I think is a very powerful point he made, right? Package your free service, right, and give it out for free. That's one. Two is strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships. And what do I mean by strategic partnership? Matter of fact, somebody did this yesterday to me, and I thought it was powerful. There was a lady that had resigned somewhere, right? And she did absolutely well where she was, but she resigned in my client's business. I think she got married, and her husband said she didn't like the job because the job she was closing late at work. And we understand that, and we let her go. But I remember the MW company even paid her off very well. So she worked in somewhere else that is more comfortable. Sadly, the COVID thing has happened, and she got laid off. You know what the lady did? The lady called me. And in engaging, I noticed that she called all of her past employers, right, to tell them that she's now looking for a job, right? And for me, what I just think she's doing is she's building strategic partnership. I told her that, well, the client does not need you anymore, but I will be willing, right, to introduce you to somebody else because you did brilliantly well before you left, which is why I keep saying don't leave in a bad note. When they tell you go, don't slam the door. You might need to open that door again, right? But more importantly, before she dropped the phone, she asked for a favor. And I said, what's the favor? He said, can I please just nicely make a list of the HR people I know, right? And give her their number and give their numbers to her. And I thought that was very important. In other words, what she's going to do is make a list of HR people and nicely write to them saying she's now available to work. So strategic partnership is something that is important to do to get a job. Another thing to do is please go quickly and update your LinkedIn profile. Sell yourself on LinkedIn. The energy people spend on Instagram and Facebook, they should just move it a bit to LinkedIn. Go to your profile, right? And I'm not telling you to bamboozle people or to sell-spoof to people, but I'm sure there are key achievements you achieved in your former job that you got laid off. Put it there. One thing I've learned in recruitment over the years of sitting down and interviewing people is one of the most powerful ways to get a job is for you to use numerical value to tell people what you've done. In other words, you can say stuff like, in my last job, I moved them from 50 million to 200 million. Anybody that hears that in this post-COVID, his ear will stand, right? To say, okay, this one has value if he really did do that. So update your profile, create free services, have strategic partnerships. If you can afford it, create a quick platform that teaches people that same value you have to give people. Right? Because people are likely to employ you if they think that you are so knowledgeable in that thing that you're even teaching other people. Right? And I think that's something that is extremely important to do. I'm sure the rest of the panelists have other suggestions, right? But more importantly, beyond these suggestions, please don't be idle. You cannot say that you don't have a job, so you sit down at home and Netflix and High Nolly has become your best friend, African Magic. It's a trap you don't want to get into, right? It's better to be busy when they come to look for you than to be idle. Being busy in Nigeria is more valuable than being idle. So while you are out of job, look for one quick thing to do. Even if it means your next door neighbor to teach them how to play piano or to teach the SS2 child how to learn maths. Keep your brain active. We know how the universe works. The universe is designed, right, to meet you at your place of being busy. Notice in the 12 disciples Jesus Christ chose, none of them did he go to meet when they were idle. He met them where they were working, right? And it's something that is still a principle that is valid. Nobody wants to hire somebody. Have you even not even just in work, in even relationship?
Yeah.
Right? If you see a lady in your church who nobody has ever said anything to before, you never see that with any man, wouldn't you think that there's something wrong with the lady herself? So I think it's something that people have to understand, that people respect people as human beings, where we buy things because other people have bought that thing. Right? This is how we buy things. So make sure, give people the impression that you're still in demand. Wear your best clothes while you're out. Speak your best English. Show your best self. Right? Don't wear a sackcloth. Do not do it. It's a trap that would not lead you in a good place for your next level. Thanks, guys.
Whoa, amazing. Awesome. Barrister Ita, you're next, but please also note in your answer the uniqueness for those who are lawyers who are also in this situation where they can advertise, their profession. How do they get a job in as quick as possible?
I hope their mindset will not be double wala for dead body. Okay, so Isa has said a whole lot that is very applicable across board. Whether you're a lawyer, whether you are in some other professional field, or you are a core employee, a whole lot of things is said turns out to be very applicable. So maybe what I would just do, and I think if you're a lawyer or even across board, you will benefit a whole lot from this. So I'm just going to share my story with you very briefly, and then I would put in 2 key points you should take note of. But if you are thinking of getting a job in 72 hours, then you should be ready to spend your nights and your day wide, like your eyes opened, your brain open, and maybe your legs in water. Okay, so I remember when I pulled out from Falano, where I worked. See, one of the things I did at that point, I was just 6 months into my marriage. My wife was really without a tangible job at the point. And here was I going as well to join her at home without any work. But I made up my mind about certain things. Before I left paid employment voluntarily, I was already training people. I was already training people on how the law applies to their business. So what I needed to do, or what I made up my mind to do, was to build on that which I was already doing. So I spent time writing blogs, attending to people's phone call, free of charge, no money. And then there would be places where I would receive invitation to come and lecture business people as well for free. Maybe they will give you some soft drink and all of that when you are done. But what I learned from all of these freebies is the fact that there is a whole lot of capital in freebies. There's a whole lot about building network than trying to make immediate money. So what people are usually afraid of is the fear of the unknown. How do I make the money right away? Without really thinking about how do I build something that will make me the money pretty soon. So you need to invest in all of this. So now to the key points I said I was going to share. Now, if you are thinking of getting out of the mess of unemployment pretty soon, you need to first find out, in addition to what is I had mentioned, you need to ask yourself, what are those things you have online? These days, everybody goes online. They want to know you, they go online. So your online profile really speaks volume about you. So are you there taking pictures of the eateries you've been to? And then you said you were in paid employment just last week, and around 3 noon during work hour, you were somewhere else and all of that. So all of those things, you need to build your profile. Your profile should be deliberate, and it should be targeted at where you want to find yourself. So if you want to go into an industry, you need to start reading and talking about that industry online. When you become deliberate about all of this, then you'll find that you start getting closer, attracting the kind of employment opportunity that you are looking for. So what do you know, and who needs what you know? Now, all of these things are things you will put together, and then you can tailor make your decision to the industry that will definitely need that which you already know. I apologize. I think I've spent more than 2 minutes, but I hope you found something worthwhile in what I shared so far. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is great. I can see a lot of people jotting down, writing down. People are just so grateful. You guys you don't know what you've done with this short session. It just looks like nothing much, but people have really learned. I can see someone said, thank you so much for organizing this. You have opened my mind in this lockdown. A lot of people are just grateful and saying thank you. Let's go to the mother in the house, mother in Zion.
Mother in Israel, mother in Israel.
Thank you for all the accolades. But I want
to Father in Israel, mute yourself.
Oh, okay.
Father in
okay, sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead.
If you are looking for a 72-hour job, as a job in 72 hours, I guess it's one of the root causes why you are one of those laid off at the moment. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but because we're always looking for short-term measures, we end up in this type of rut. Yeah. I ask people, before you joined that job, did you have a plan? So if you didn't, and now you've been laid off, think 10 years from now, what do you plan? What's the destination of your life? When you think about that, then you can ask yourself, what are the steps and the systems I can put in place to get there? That brings you to my first point. If you want a job, like he said, I'm going to extend it, let's say a month. In a month's time, sit down and count the costs. It's time to retreat. You've lost your job. It is time to retreat. Sit down. After you found out your why, build a purposeful plan. Don't jump again. Don't jump into the next one. This is COVID. Who knows what else will come next time? So you're not going to just take the next job because you want a job, you want a job, you want a job. Hunger never killed anyone. It's better to sit down, count the cost, and plan purposefully and get a job that will sustain you, or get a business that will sustain you going forward, than for you to jump on the next train because I lost my job, I lost my job, I lost my job. You don't want to do that. If you want to build purposefully, the first thing you need to do is sit down, write down your 5 major values. the values that you consider, these are the reasons for my life. This is where you write your destination. This is where I'm going, number one. Then secondly, what are my major values? And then let it be reflected in your CV. Let it be reflected in your social media posts. Let it be reflected in your LinkedIn profile. Then the guys have done so well. So please do everything that they've said. They're excellent. But one thing I must say, and maybe because I coach mostly executives, everybody needs a mentor or a sponsor.
Sure. Right.
So if you have lost your job, check it. Did I have a mentor in this business? Did I have a sponsor? Or I was just doing it on my own? Excellent in work. Good. It's good to be good, excellent in work. But like Mr. Ezo said, even outside Nigeria, everywhere, people want to know how much you care. So you must have someone on the board, someone on the executive team that will be calling your name. And what is it has to be a symbiotic relationship. I tell people that tell me, I want to mentor you. I want you to mentor me. I want you to mentor me. And all they do is disrupt my plans, give me stress. And I'm like, this is not a mentoring. This is slavery. One person is, and so as quick as possible, you want to let that person go. But you want a mentor someone that has been where you want to get to. If you lost your job, contact that mentor, leverage on that relationship. This is what I did. This is what I did. One of the major things I find is we lack that mentoring relationship, mostly in Africa. And because of that, everybody has to do the whole journey. Here, I find that people don't have to go the whole length of the journey because someone has gone through the pain. This is not the first time. You won't be the first person to be let off. Ask your mentor, okay, you are here. Have you ever been let off? What happened? How can I learn from that? What do you think I can do? And because your mentor is someone that is close to your industry or someone that is within your location, can understand and give you practical ways. Because we can say a lot of things here, but if you have a mentor within that organization, the person will tell you the real reasons. And from there, you can now plan for the next 10 years. And finally, I'm going to say this one. It's funny, but make your bed. You wake up every day, make your bed. Don't stay in the bed, because once you make your bed, you're not going to want to get into it. I don't know, that's me. Once I make my bed, I've told myself, you have to do something today. Don't sleep there and be turning and saying, I don't have a job. No, make your bed and start. Just get up. You need to get up from that bed. And from that, you're able to go and sit down. You retreat, think, write, plan, then leverage your relationships. It's very, very difficult anywhere in the world to employ a total stranger. Nobody wants to employ a total stranger. So that is going to help you to, like and I think I doff my hat to her. I think she's excellent. That's the kind of person I would like to employ even, and she's strategic. You're not only leveraging on your relationships by draining them, but you're leveraging to show that you have value. Because even volunteering, I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, you people say we should volunteer. Why is it so difficult to find a place to volunteer? Nobody wants a total stranger. No, someone has to refer. Yeah. So you have to leverage and intentionally find mentors. How do you get your mentor? You have found out that this person carries all the values you want, the person is in your industry, the person is close by to you. Write the person or call the person and say, please, what is the best time to do this? Please, can we have a session? Can I check in with you every week? Make it a purposeful relationship. I would like to come and help you file every month, or what do you want? Let it be symbiotic. Add value to the mentor. You don't have to pay the person, but at least add value to the mentor such that the person is also interested in your growth.
Yeah.
So much has been said. If you just apply all this, you will get your job, but I do not advise you, don't jump on a 72-hour job. You're going to get into trouble again. Have a long-term plan. Thank you.
Oh, come on. Can we all clap for them? Awesome. Stella Adebayo says fantastic. Bukola says, wow, so profound. Make your bed, think right, plan, leverage your relationship. This has been great, great, and great. I want to say this, and I think this is very, very key. I realized that COVID was actually good for me. I was lucky to be one of those who have built a strong online business. And even the first 6 weeks of the lockdown, I made more money. But I intentionally used the period of the lockdown to build relationships. I remember I sent messages to more than 100 people. I like to host you on my Instagram. Let's chat, people. Let's add value. Let's talk. And it's done so much that in fact, I just feel like, you know what, I can take the world right now. And that's part of how, and because of this event, we hosted the CEO of a bank, and we're doing, and several more that we couldn't even host for this conference, that we're lining up for another conference. So it's important that even if what we're discussing, you've not lost your job, that you take what is being discussed seriously. I feel if there's anything everyone must do this season, build relationship. This is a season you should not joke with relationship. I don't know how good things are for you. This is a season. Why? Because everybody is willing to listen to you. Technically, we're all idle to some degree, right? At this period, we're to some degree. If not for COVID, I would probably be in Italy or Germany or Dubai. We're supposed to have opened our office in London. I mean, we will all just be too busy to have anybody's time. But people are a bit open to listen. People are kind of adjusting. We just finished hosting CEO of a bank who, guess what? After he finished, I was told by his PA, the entire bank were jubilating. The corporate communication department wants the video, they are putting it on, because he hardly comes online to even physically to do any talk. And they're wondering how come. But that's what's going on now. People are changing, people are adjusting, people are adapting. And this is the time to enter them and say, I want a mutually beneficial relationship. I want to just build a relationship. I want to add value. Do this now, and I promise you, you will be in a better position. And the volunteer thing, we can't overemphasize. So last question, what's your final advice to all employees that are watching this on the subject of repositioning? Your final advice on the subject of repositioning. Izu, and then we'll wrap up. Yes, Izu, then Vice the entire, then Mommy.
Okay, the final advice on the subject of positioning is climbing your leadership ladder, right? A lot of people, when they're employed for three reasons. They're employed for their skill, knowledge, and ability. Skill, knowledge, and ability. We call it SKA. That's the default reason why you were hired. If you're to be laid off, it will also be that you were not consistent with what we expect in terms of your skill, knowledge, and ability. In other words, you were consistently inconsistent with why we consistently kept you, right? But that's first baseline. If you must keep your job, the positioning you need to do is not just that. There are 5 levels of that ladder you need to climb. The first level got you the job, which is skill, knowledge, and acquisition. But that level is not enough to keep your job. The second level is what you call a contributing member. In other words, how much are you contributing to the organizational goal? You can be good at what you do and still not contribute tangibly, right? So what you now need to do is, how can I contribute more tangibly? So maybe, in other words, how can I have a more strategic position so you can apply to change your role, right? Then the third level, for somebody who is already in that level, because I want to assume people are at different levels. Some people are already capable, they're already well positioned in a strategic point. Well, in a strategic point, you can now say, how can I show leadership of that point? Let me use a football analogy, for example. For you to play football, you must be able to play football, but that doesn't make a good team, right? So you have to show us during where we're coming to choose our 11, you can be part of the 11. That way you can be a contributing team player. Then after that level, you reposition yourself again, depending on which level you are in, but you cannot jump one level. So if you're a capable guy, Mr. Capable, you need to start becoming Mr. Contributor. If you're Mr. Contributor, you now have to move to becoming a Mr. Manager. In other words, how can you cut costs for the company? You cannot be an expense. Even though a lot of people, when we talk about rent, we put it under general or general operating expense, right? Can I move from general operating expense to being a revenue stream, right? In other words, that thing you're even employed to, can you teach it out and the company makes money, right? So that means go from Mr. Capable to Mr. Contributor, from Mr. Contributor to Mr. Manager. That means you bring money in, you're efficient for the company. And then the fourth one is be the first person. And I did this to my clients and it was amazing. Just 1 week into the lockdown, I wrote a mail to almost all of my clients, telling them that I'm with them and I am willing to take a pay cut on my retainership. Matter of fact, for some of the people who even requested, I did not even argue. Right? If you know, you know. Right? I did not even argue. In other words, it would make a lot of sense for you to go to your management and say, sir, I understand what you're going through. Just in case you need people to take a pay cut, I'll be willing to take a 20% pay cut. Now, let's be honest. When you say that, right, even if the guy had plans of laying you off, there's a part of his sentiment that he would say, okay, I like the way this guy is thinking, right? And the truth about it is, if he didn't have any plan of taking a pay cut, it's so unlikely that only you will take the pay cut. So at least you're the one that first of all, and I think that's a very powerful principle. Matter of fact, what I did one step ahead with my clients was, for clients who are retainership for a quarter, and if you notice, the lockdown started at the end of Q1, that's March. Yeah. I sent them that thing 2 weeks before the quarter, as if I knew that this thing was going to spill to May and not just April. I said, I'm willing to take a 25% pay cut if you pay me before the end of the month. So that was my way of, just in case the lockdown, you cannot pay people again. Let me first collect the one I have first. It's important. But you see, what's important about it is, it first of all hits their sentiments that, wow, this guy is already taking a pay cut. Let me pay him since he's not collecting the full money. Yeah. And I think that's a strategic way. For you, it might not be pay cut. For you, it might be extra value. Oh, sir, you know what? I just realized that since we don't come to work often, right, because we're working from home, is it okay for me to do this in addition to my work? Right? And that's a level in leadership. That's a level in leadership where you give in your best, irrespective of who gets the credits. In other words, taking a pay cut for the rest of the team. So remember, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 1 is Mr. Capable. Level 2 is Mr. Contributor. Level 3 is Mr. Manager. Level 4 is leadership by example, Mr. Example. Right? It's extremely important. And if for any reason they ask you to leave, please coordinate the leaving of other people to show that you are open-minded. That is the Mandela level. You know Mandela level? Mandela could have dragged second term. If Mandela wanted to be a lifetime president, I'm sure South Africa would have voted him. But Oga left when the ovation was highest, right? Even campaigned for the second person. I feel like that's a clear-cut difference between him and another of our president that wanted to die on top of a particular extra term, right? Because sometimes when you leave when the ovation is highest, you have the most respect. When you visit the company when everything is okay, by that time, by the principles that be, you might be coming to sell them a product and they will buy the product in the company. True. Right? So remember that is the best way to reposition. Show them that you're on your way to the next level. Demonstrate your next position, because what you call promotion is a demonstration of your next position. Thanks, guys, and have a blast for the rest of the semi-lockdown.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Come on, guys. Can we say thank you, Mr. Izu? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Itayo, you're next.
Okay, so my final word is for you to build skills. as much as possible, there is room for you to not just build skills. There's the emotional sentiment out there. You can also ensure that you are also building ability, meaning take on courses, get on courses, short-term courses, just ensure you are building yourself. And that skill you can build, which has nothing to do with a short-term course or a long-term course, is the skill of thinking like the boss. I usually will tell my team members that, look, as much as possible, you need to think like the boss. That would help you to feel not just the pains of being in that position, it's also going to help you to be able to use your best judgment to get things done. And it's also going to help you in a whole lot of other ways that you can only understand as you begin to do that. It's not an easy task, but it is a skill that you can build. When you think like the boss, most likely your attitude towards work and a whole lot of other things you're going to be doing is going to be very attached to the work, such that you find yourself being productive. And in the long run, you're building an edifice for yourself, such that if you need to stand on your own, you already have that mindset. You have leadership skills, you have managerial skills, and you have skills to get the work done, because that is how the boss thinks. Profitability and being productive. Think like the boss. Have a wonderful time after this session and continue to be productive. Thank you.
Wow.
You're on mute. You're on mute. We can't hear you.
Well, type thank you, Mr. Itayo. Everybody type thank you, Mr. Itayo. I think a lot of people fell in love with Mrs. Lola across, maybe because, she wasn't the tough Izu. I can see a lot of people say, wow, thank you, Mrs. Lola. So have your final word.
My final word is first, for those that have lost their jobs, the world is not over. It's not the end. It's just a bend. What you just need to do is get yourself together. It's a good thing that you're here. So that shows that you're already progressive thinking. One major thing I tell people is you cannot underestimate the power of thinking. Now this has happened. You need to step back, re-strategize, retreat, look at the mindset changes, the limiting beliefs and the mindset changes that took you to this place where you are. After you have retreated and you now plan your next 10 years and you manage your recovery that way, you need to now think long-term. And in thinking long-term, like Mr. Itayo said, it has to be entrepreneurial thinking. So entrepreneurs are not just those outside and owning their own businesses. Entrepreneurs, they are also corporate entrepreneurs that are within the business. And the truth is, most corporate entrepreneurs are never laid off. Except they choose to leave, because you are thinking like the boss. You're thinking about your mindset is creative. You're thinking of creative ways. Several things that Mr. Ezio has said and Mr. Itayo, they think creative ways to get out of this. You're thinking of productive and impactful ways. And most especially, you are leading yourself, because you are your own leader. And until you think about how to develop yourself, your personal development, not just your skills, not just your ability here, but your attitude. Because like he said, in the Mori, the Japanese thing, your energy, the energy that you are carrying. Because in the situation that we are in, everybody is in a panic. Everybody is concerned about the kind of people they surround themselves with. So if you are the one that has been transforming and transferring bad energy, it's the time for you to step back and think. change your mindset, manage your recovery, and think long-term. Thank you.
Ooh.
All the very best from me, and have a wonderful one. Yes.
Awesome. Amazing. How many of you feel like Mrs. Lola should be the HR of the company where you work? You know, thank you so much, everybody. Barrister Itayo, amazing. Thank you. God bless you. Izu, the bad man in the building, but telling us the real truth that we needed to hear. And I feel everybody has just brought in their uniqueness to make this a very successful interaction. I advise everyone to go on YouTube and listen to this again and again. Also on the Facebook platform, watch this again and again. If you really implement all that has been taught, there's just no way that you will not come out of this better, bigger and better. You definitely will come out bigger and better if you, it's about the execution anyway. But if you execute, you definitely will come out better. A big thank you. We can't thank you enough, the three of you. Thank you. This has been an amazing, amazing conference. This is the 6th year. Well, this is the best, actually. We're all comfortably, watching from our home. We're also comfortably speaking from our homes, and it's been wonderful. God bless you, and goodbye. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye. Also, guys, the last session, as usual, is on my Instagram handle at Steve Instagram. And Mark Odige is the one we are hosting. She's a presenter on TVC. And we're going to be discussing a lot about using your skill and talent to building wealth after COVID-19. So I want all of you to join me right now at Stephen Akintayo on Instagram as we have the last session for the day. Tomorrow we continue also, as usual, we continue here on Zoom. We'll continue tomorrow here on Zoom. And it's going to be a wonderful time, 9 a.m. To 8 p.m. We have great lineup of speakers, Dr. Peba Wolfram Donga. Tomorrow, the chief strategist for Heritage Bank, PLC. The chief strategist will also be there, will be around tomorrow. Myself also, and some other amazing speakers. It's going to be loaded. Don't miss it for anything. But for now, let's all go. I'm waiting for you on Instagram. So everybody go to my Instagram at Stephen Akintayo as we start the last session, just 1 hour with Tokwe Mark Odigwe. Thank you. Good night. God bless you all. Love you. See you tomorrow. I'll see you on Instagram. Not tomorrow, just see you on Instagram. At Stephen Akintayo, that's the handle right now. At Stephen Akintayo. See you soon.
Sir, you told me to pass a message to the
life and to learn to be prepared. Opportunities are not for a lot of people. Everything. Some of them, we see what they're not going to do better than those who are given the opportunities to. That's just the truth. They're going to do that. Even if we lose something. You want to play some actors?
No, sir.
Huh?
It's showing them already. It's showing they are about to go live on this phone.
Okay, so show the banner for Instagram. The handle is okay.
Can you stop the live, the Zoom live? Sir, please don't end the Zoom live.
I'm ready for my end. But you guys are the admin, so
okay, yes. Not your answer. Yeah.
You can see how they are doing it. We need to step up our game. We're doing well, but we need to step up. As of for the starting by 7 p.m., you see the banner is already live. In ahead at 7 p.m. People are starting. That is on Instagram now. Have we cracked that code, guys? Have we cracked that code? Or we haven't?
For me, I'm still cracking the code.
They can hear me, guys. So they can hear me. What's going on? That's obviously from the end. My job.
I think I was watching Daystar, was it online service 3 weeks ago, and I was watching your session. I was like, oh, this is lovely. I'm very hilarious. If you have a way of just saying things,
try to be as honest as possible.
yeah, I mean, it was just funny the way you said, I'm just adding all the way, John. I will lose them. You know, I was like, awesome. Good to have you. And thank you so much for joining.
I'm excited.
First of all, can be tricky, but we thank God we're back again. So hopefully we will have the one and only Topper join us back. Okay. So okay, she's back. She's back. She's back. So let's just have her join us again. For those of us doing this, it's been a bit tough, but it's been a great day.
Welcome to Nigeria. These are the kind of things that happen in Nigeria.
Yeah, you just go. It's funny how we have at least more than 5 different networks here. So if this one doesn't work, we just move to this one. But like
only in Africa does that happen.
So you're welcome. Please let me type something again. Let me just pin your handle. And my first question is, on TVC, and and then it was like, wow, this person, and there's that authenticity with you. But I know that's always the way it happens with everybody. It looks as if somebody just came out of no particular time. They are now more sane. So how did this whole using your talent to transform lives from media to your small businesses? Your Instagram handle is very, very rich with a lot of engaging content. So how did this whole journey start for you?
So the natural talent for me is to want to make things better. The natural talent for me is to want to beautify things, to expand something. So conversations around me would always go around trying to troubleshoot what the problems could be and find a talent for communication. So because I know naturally, it's not something, public speaking, communicating skills were not things I had to learn particularly. I learned to upgrade, but they were latent, they were already within me. Oops, sorry. They were already within me. So because I had those within me, it was easy for me to sit down at home after having, and I had twins about 8 years ago. And because my small business then relied heavily on me. And I was heavily pregnant with twins. I was sick. I had all the health complications you could have with pregnancy. And so I couldn't work. So after having my children, I was at home and I was thinking, what else could I do? I have 2 boys. I can't go back carrying makeup boxes right now. What else could I do? So I saw the adverts on TV saying they wanted tips. But another talent I have is so I just went to TVC Studios and told them I'm here to audition. So they told me, but see, what we are looking for, is somebody between 18 and 23. And obviously I just had children, so there was no way I looked 18 or 23. So I told them that I know what you're looking for. I don't know what you were looking for. I just saw that you were looking for people for audition. They said, okay, do you have media experience? I said, I don't have. And so the idea was, 1, you don't have media experience. 2, you don't fit the age range. What are you now doing here? So I just kept saying. So apparently, because I was so confident and forceful, they decided to say, since this woman will not go anywhere, let us stay. So they put me in front of the camera. I did the first audition, and good news was that I got the second opportunity to do another one. Wow. When I came for the second call, it was very sunny, as it was the weather was crazily hot. So I just told myself, let me get into one small office there and collect this while I'm waiting. Unknown to me, office. So I got into the office and I just got there. I was gisting that, I came for audition. I want to come on TV. They said, what do you do? I said, I'm a makeup artist. So I was just doing my normal gist. And in that conversation, I didn't know I was actually indirectly auditioning.
Wow.
I was just talking. And the lady I was talking to just saw in me and felt that, see, that program you are going for, they can't pick you. And I was like, no, negativity. No negativity. Don't bring this here. I was like, what I have for you is better suited. We have just concluded auditions for a new program on TV, and I feel you fit into that show.
Wow.
And that was how I went for something else and find myself doing something else entirely. And so sometimes, and this is how it happens in life, you prepare yourself all through, and then you just realize when opportunity comes, you grab the opportunity, and you'll be like, this person just came out of nowhere. They don't know what you've been doing all your life. Build up yourself for that moment you grab.
Amazing. That's a real story. The next question for me is that people could see about you. I'm speaking for most of your fans also, is that you're comfortable in your skin. Now, I meet a lot of women who will just be, I just feel I don't talk well. I just feel I talk too much. Oh, I just feel I don't look good. Oh, I just feel this, I feel that. And there's just so much. And people say, you have the talent. Your skill is there. You can do this. No, but I just don't feel I'm good enough. How do people build confidence to be able to, transform life using their skills?
Okay, so there are two sides. There are the things within your control and there are the things out of your control. So I think that most people that are lacking confidence tend to focus on the things out of what they are doing. It is not in your control how somebody would interpret what you're doing. True. What is in your control is to upgrade the quality of your skills, is to upgrade the quality of your deliverables so that every time you speak, what you say would make sense and bring them back. So, and even in whatever skill, so maybe you are a fashion designer, your insecurity towards coming onto social media might be because you don't feel confident that your design is not good enough. If your design is not good enough, then don't need to focus. Just focus on upgrading the quality of fashion and style and clothes you bring out, so that even if they will yab you for not speaking your English well, they will not yab your clothes. They know that this person feels this person are English is terrible, but if you give her any dress to sew, so you concentrate on the things that are essential for your strength. Because if you are focusing on the areas of your real weak areas, you will not. You will be ignorant and this world. But I know I can talk. So, and I might have many disadvantages, but I know that I am a positively.
That talk one,
I'm a motivational person. So you might tell me, oh, you don't have a good sense of style. And I'll tell you, I will motivate you. You will develop, you will grow. So once I know what my strength is, even when you are talking about my weakness, I'll focus on it. Let me give it for women. A lot of women struggle with this thing. They talk about, oh, I have K-leg. Oh, I have bow leg. Oh, exactly. I have this one. You cannot change bow leg. You cannot change K-leg. But you can package the K-leg and the bow leg that everybody that will be like,
I feel like I'm
beautiful. So the goal should not be what you cannot change. The goal should be upgrade the things you can change. In whatever field, whether you're a broadcaster and some people yab you for your English, whether you are into sales, whether you're into marketing, there are some things you have, natural talents that are in you. Those talents need to be upgraded into skills. Because I know that that's the core of what we're going to talk about, but let me just let you drive the conversation the way you desire.
Wow, this is amazing. Guys, if you're having a great time, can you type, I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time. Come on, guys, we need you to engage us. Type, I'm having a great time if you know you are having a wonderful time here. I want to say, for those of you also on Facebook, please feel free to engage us. Also, you are free to type your question. If you have any question for our guest, feel free to just type your question. We will read them for her. There is something I often say. People will not pay you for your talent, they pay you for your skill. And until you convert your talent to a skill, you cannot monetize it. Help us understand, and you can give us further explanation in this regard. How do people move from talent to skill, from skill to monetize skill? Because there's difference there.
Okay, so let me say I agree with you to an extent. It's a common saying. I use the saying too. But the truth is, people will pay you for your talents. They just will not pay you enough for your talents. They will pay you much for your talents. They'll talents. You would attract people.
True.
But when they come to you, they sample you. But when they don't see excellence in your delivery, which comes as a skill, they will try you for a while and back off. So maybe the good fashion designer sews very well for a while, but is not timely in delivering these jobs. So you're a very creative person, but you don't do quality finishing, which are skills you add. You are not a good time management person, which are skills you add. But you will get if you are a talented person, what you get paid will be minute as compared to what you can get paid if you add on skills to what you have. That's what I mean. Personal story for me was getting into media. I got into media plainly on talents. No previous skill, no previous history. But when I got there, I very quickly found out that there is so much you can bluff your way through. You need to add competence to your what you have. So right within that job, so that I don't get kicked out of the job, I deliberately went for multiple trainings. I went to the Nigerian Broadcast Academy. I did basic and advanced. I went for public speaking. I went for presentation training. I went for production training. All of these. So when you invite me for your event to speak at your event, and I tear the place up, and I create a vibration I desire, it is not just talent, it is a deliberate skill I have learned, and I have found a way to create the energy, raise the vibration. Those are different from the talent. Talent is that I can talk, but creating a transformational event or giving a speech that will cause you to weep, that is a skill. So you can have your talent, but you must work consistently to upgrade your talent into a skill. So much that when they see you, even the truth is, when you look at life, skill is more important than talent at the end of the day. When we wait, but somebody can sit down without any talent and become so skilled that even a talented person would doff the hat that, wow, you are good. That's because of the skill. So at the end of the day, with the level of modernization going on, skills will keep you relevant beyond where your talent can get you to. And so we must realize that.
Amazing. Or you want to continue to glare at a flawless makeup? Which one? Because everybody's just complimenting the makeup. Oh, what a flawless makeup. Oh, you look good. Oh, our wifey. So my next question is, I often share with people, there are 3 steps to moving from talent to skill. Number 1 is training. Those who train will reign. Number 2 is experience and exposure. And number 3 is mentorship, getting somebody to hold you by the hand. In your journey to mentorship play a critical role, and what has been your biggest strategy to attracting great mentors?
Okay, so let me say something. I have been more of a skilled-based person. My mentors are people, and this is going to be a bit unusual because most of the time when people crave mentors, they are looking for people they will see one-on-one. They are looking for someone they will sit down and have conversations with. Let me tell you something. My greatest mentors, I've never met them.
Wow.
My greatest mentors came through books. The founder of Mary Kay, I read her books. They were fundamental for my business growth. I've read books, and those books are indirectly mentoring me. So for me, I haven't benefited much from having one-on-one mentors. And I talk to a lot of people that reach out to me and say, oh, TMO, mentor me. TMO, I want you to mentor me. I tell them, the best way for me to mentor you is for you to follow my content and consume them. Listen to those contents and use what I teach you through content to transform time, you will build that relationship, and
True.
then you will now have a mentor. For me,
True.
the people I want to mentor me, more often than not, I've not had a one-on-one relationship with them, but I read their books, I watch their program, I follow their programs, and I am practicing the principles they've taught me. So if anybody that is my mentor recommends a book, I will go and find the book and read it, because that way I am tapping into the brain of my mentor to understand the principles that formed my mentor to the point where I can look up to him or her. By following the person's principles, I can now become that person. So you might be opportuned to have a one-on-one chat with your mentor. I have an opportunity to chat with my pastor, Sam Adeyemi. Many rush to see him. But more than ever, the lessons that I've gotten from in terms of mentoring, that would be my answer. It will be that seek mentors, because they are vital to your long-term growth.
Yes.
You need to behold what you want to manifest in your life. True. So, and sometimes the best way to behold it is to see somebody already walking the path you desire to walk. So if you can, go and meet the person. But most importantly, if you can't meet the person, if you can't have a one-on-one with the person, read their books, follow their podcast, watch their YouTube videos, follow them on social media, become the stalker of their life. If they are doing Instagram live, follow them to what makes them. Sometimes you will have one-on-one conversation with people and they will not tell you what you want to hear. But by just following in their steps, you will know what they are doing.
True.
And so it is key that beyond just saying, I want a relationship, many people, many mentees are becoming pests on their mentors.
Very true. Parasite.
They are calling, they are stressing, they are nagging, and they are draining their mentors. So for me, the goal should not be for you to be in the life of your mentor. It is for you to learn from your mentor.
Powerful. Come on, guys. If that is powerful, just type powerful. Powerful session. I'm having a great time. My next question will be that what is COVID-19 to you, and how are you repositioning all that you do, including your makeup business? That, I mean, people would think well before doing makeup now because social distancing. So
very true.
So how are you repositioning?
So for me, I've always I've always defined myself as being a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I know you are like that too. That's why I follow you. So I consciously don't allow myself to be boxed into one career path. And I think that every successful person must have multiple streams of income. So in that line, it is still very, very relevant.
Okay, guys.
My beauty industry business has to be redefined. So I'm thinking, how do we take this online? How do I engage my staff and get them to, all of them, start shooting videos, start creating content, start designing programs? And what angle of business can we still do right now? What are we still needed? So, and as God will have it, you know, when you work with God, I was in the US and I did a training on semi-permanent eyelashes and semi-permanent eyebrows. So in this season, many people will not want to be doing their makeup every day, but they would want to get their makeup, their eyebrows to be good all the time. So I'm very sure that I will have customers that will come for semi-permanent eyebrows, which means that it is already drawn long term. So it is now about looking for the different angles of your business. That's for beauty. Also, one of the things I've already been preparing for with my friends is the fact that farming is huge. The agricultural chain is a huge chain. So we have been doing research already before we heard about COVID-19. So COVID-19 came in, me and my friend just gathered and said, let's play food. And so in the midst of COVID-19, we launched our agri business. So for some people, you need a pivot. You need to have that total change. Some people will preach against this, but I'll tell you, there is nothing wrong with you realizing that this path I'm following is a bad path. Turn back. Don't continue on a bad path because you want to be, I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to think I failed. No. Turn around. Don't travel too far on the wrong path. You will not end up in the right destination. No matter how long you travel a wrong path, re-strategize and come up with another business. Many people are crying now because their means of livelihood has been cut off. And somebody online is advising you to sit down there and wait it out. When you are hungry, you should sit down and wait out the crisis. Or you should stand up and think of what you can do to earn a living within this crisis. There is no shame. The only person that should be ashamed is a beggar. Whatever line of action you are carrying egg, you are selling egg, you are selling chicken, you are selling mask, whatever you are selling, as long as you are selling and you're not begging, you have no reason to be ashamed.
Powerful.
So,
come on. You see why I said everybody should type powerful. Guys, let's give a double powerful this time around. Powerful.
So for me, I'll say that COVID-19 or not, let us have our thinking brain on. Let us keep thinking. Let us keep innovating. Innovation is what will make you stand out in this season. Whether it is with your talent or with your business or with your skill, your ability to innovate with what you have is essential to thinking, what can I do better? How can I do it better? What will make me stand out? I cannot be doing a training on lipstick in the period of COVID. Bros, it doesn't make sense now. Who wants to use lipstick now?
Exactly.
Everybody's covering their mouth.
Yes. So lipstick won't work.
It doesn't make sense to think of that kind of business. I cannot be selling teeth whitening this period. What are people desperate for at this moment? They are desperate for cure. So if you are in herbal remedies or you know a bit about herbal remedies and you can come up with concussions
that can boost people's immune system,
because you will help people to re-strategize their business. If you are a marketing guru, this is when you will sell. If you are a website developer, this is your season. Create, crash your price for website development and now start marketing the importance of putting your business online. The point is, think innovation.
Whoa, come on. She keeps typing our wifey. Okay, so madam, we've acknowledged your wifey.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is, what is your advice particularly for women? And I want you to also tailor this to, we had a 1 million naira grant competition during this conference, and in fact, we still had some of the pitching, and many can win. We're only picking 3 winners. For those who don't win, who will not win, and many of those who will win are in your industry. Some are into makeup, some are into bridal, and we're trying to explain to them it won't be wise for us to give you a grant in a business that they are likely to do better. So what is your advice to those? Yes, particularly those women who will not get the grant. What should they do?
Yes. So one, let me address people in my industry.
Yes.
Just before the lockdown, just before COVID-19 came into Nigeria, I was shopping. I was looking for a new office to open a bigger branch. That was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But entering COVID-19, I diverted the funds for that branch into Agri. Time.
Wow.
So we must be deliberate. So imagine if you are in the beauty industry now.
Yes.
Your strategies will not be a money-consuming strategy. This is not the time to collect a loan or that. No. Your strategy should be aligned to innovation. And it will be what would I do to earn a living?
Yeah.
What are the adjoining industries? So maybe, and the truth is, makeup is suffering right now. That's the fact.
True.
My studio has been shut for 6 weeks, which means that my business hasn't earned, my staff, I had to pay them from savings for the past 6 weeks.
Wow.
Also, you might do training online, but at what level and at what and how can you sustain it?
Yeah.
So maybe you do some WhatsApp training, you do some webinars and all of that.
Yeah.
But how can you scale that up? It's cut drastically in the minimum by 50%. So the goal is not for you to be seeking grants, but rather to look for other adjoining business you can invest in.
True.
Things you can sell to your already existing customers. So your customers will say, I don't want makeup. You ask them, would you like a facial scrub? If you don't want to use makeup, at least you want your skin to be flawless. I have this recipe. It is fantastic. 100% guaranteed. Go and collect the recipe from somebody selling the soap. So find a way to engage your customers by giving them the things they need, because right now what your service is no longer a need for them.
Yes.
Your customers are not going to parties, so they don't need you for parties. What they need is what you must find. We must go away from following businesses and looking for people's problem to solve. The key to making money is to provide a service that is needed. If it is not needed, then you don't provide service. You can't stop it down for truth. I say I don't want.
Yeah.
So that's the way life works. It's not everything you will get, but you have gotten opportunity.
True.
They have gotten access to Stephen Akitayo.
True.
They have gotten access to your platform. They have gotten access to the knowledge. So their responsibility will now be, how can I build a relationship with Stephen? What can I do with him? How can he advise? So my message to them will be that they should look beyond money. You see, if you give me money but you don't give me strategy, you have killed me.
True.
Beyond money, their goal should be for them to get strategy from you. You have built your business without money. I've heard your stories. So if you built your business without money and you can give out 1 million naira grants, why do I want money from you? I don't want your money. Come and tell me how you built that business. Me too, I want to build my business and give out 1 million naira as grants. So we look for money where what we should look for is strategy, is vision, is goals. So for me, I'll tell them, go for the strategy, go for coaching, go for mentoring, go for relationship. The relationship will give you more money than the 1 million, because the truth is you can give them a lead that will give them more than 1 million. That's what they don't know. If they nurture that relationship with you.
Guys, can you just wow effect? Okay, wow, this is amazing and a big people. This is really wow. You know, as everybody typing wow. Okay, so my next question is, what is your advice for women, you know, who have challenges in their in Nigeria? We don't know the figures because all these things we don't always know the figures in Nigeria. But in other parts of the world, we've seen that divorce rate has risen. Some men just discover their wives can cook. You know, some just got tired of the proximity. Some women also are just tired. I remember somebody was said, "I'm tired of being lonely. I wish I'm married." Feeling vulnerable in this season emotionally as a result of their past, as a result of maybe they are going through divorce, they're divorced, a single mother. What's your advice to them?
So there are different categories of women and there are different categories of struggle this season. So let me put it into perspective. For those that are married, there are two categories: married with children, married without children. So married with children, I'll say for women struggling with within the house being in a mess, what I'll say to them is, we are not miracle workers. We are not magicians. We are vulnerable, and we should admit to being vulnerable. Many women break under the pressure of trying to keep it all together. They are rushing to cook. They are rushing to buy the market. You are backing the baby. You are sweeping the floor. You are mopping the floor. Calm down and admit where you are vulnerable. Sometimes it is map out what you do in your day. If you can map it out and create segments, you know that if I give my children 2 hours of TV time, I will spend my TV time. Oops, sorry, my generator is off. We're going to
welcome to Nigeria, ladies.
Welcome to Nigeria.
I can see your colleague Mariah Brown.
Yes, Mariah. When you realize that you create a map of how you want to spend your time. So if I know that I'll give my children 2 hours of TV time, within that 2 hours is my time to clean the house without interruption. Plan yourself. You know that Oga wants quality time, or you know Oga will disturb you at night. What you would do is to ensure that before you will be telling Oga you are tired at night, you will create a block of time to rest a bit, and you will tell Oga, let me sleep now. If you don't let me sleep, I'm not. No show for you.
No show for that.
In marriage, couples that did not used to talk, you are now forced together. You're not there. You're not wondering. You'll be stepping on each other, trying to avoid how to cope. The most important thing is communicate your vulnerability when you're weak. Communicate the fact that, oh, boss, maybe you're not doing it right, or maybe you're not talking to me. I want you to talk to me. So that's for those that are married with children. So I want to switch on the fan. Sorry.
No problem.
I'm getting hot. So if you have that sorted, if you're not married and your own is husband and wife being cooped up in the house for a long time, I realize that I've spoken to many men. Women are frustrating their life. Honestly, we are the ones frustrating them. We are complaining. Women are nagging. You are holding your phone. You're not talking to me. You're not staying with me. They're not busy enough.
Yes. So
at the end of the day, because you are not busy enough, you have time on your hands. And because you have time on your hands, you're looking at your husband who is on the phone, maybe doing one Zoom class, other one. I'll tell them, sis, there are many trainings going on Instagram, on Facebook, on Zoom. Go and watch. Leave him alone for a while. Give me 1 hour in a day. You can go and do your entire work all through, but give me 1 hour and tell me that time is for me. This is applicable for if you have children or not. Ask for that specific time between husbands and wives. That time is for you not to discuss food that's finished, rice is small, stew, we need it, no matches, no Maggi, no curry. It is not a time for you to create a list of need. It's not a time and watch anything
Let's watch Netflix together.
Watch Netflix.
Let's exercise together, yeah.
You know, exercise together. Just do something that is not going to be straining him or you mentally. Something fun and relaxing. That will help build the marriage. Now, for the single babes, I'll say this is the worst time to fall in love. If you fall in love now, you're not falling in love. Your desperation that is falling onto the other man's desperation.
Yes, true.
So it is not the relationships that happened within this COVID between two single people. I question the relationship because the relationship is from two vulnerable people. There will be a lot of insincerity in that relationship. Calm down. Don't go and be falling in love with somebody now.
Very true. Amazing, amazing. Guys, have you had a great time? You've had a great time. I've had a great time. We're going to start taking your questions now. So if you have questions for her, feel free to type it. Feel free to type your question. How do women begin to build wealth? The topic is transformation of skills into wealth. How do women begin to build wealth? I am shocked to begin to see that there's a change. You know, in the days of our mothers, the men were the ones doing business. 90% of ladies are
I saw the videos. I watched them.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, where are the men? Where are the men? Like, so how do women? And it's good. I mean, I support, you know, women businesses. So how do more women begin to turn skill to wealth, like you've done with all these businesses you do?
So I try not to get boxed into women. I know I told you that when we had our chats. I try not to get boxed into women because I feel strongly that there's a sentimental push to support women now.
Yes.
And we're leaving our children, our boys behind. We're leaving our men behind. Incompetent and feeling insecure because their wives are making more money and their wives are flying high. Their wives are attending women empowerment program. You know all of those women. You are go there, women empowerment, and the men are not. So we are leaving the men behind, and the women are flying.
And the men will still end up messing up the lives of these women because women are ultimately emotional.
They either stunt the growth of the woman or there's a breakage. They break up and they have a broken home. So we mustn't leave. The idea of wealth starts from the mind. You must desire it. You know, you must want it. You must be hungry. You must tell yourself that, we are going to yes, this money, these millions that they are sharing, we will share together. You see, when I see those donations, I'm not bothered. I am I say, my own is coming. You have one head. Me, if I want to donate millions. What's there? Breaking up with it, and all that you are thinking of is how would I add value and grow wealth? Mentally. That's what you're thinking of. It's not see, Stephen, I'm not looking for small money. That's not my goal. I'm not looking, it's not as if when anybody asks me, I'm like, but you're okay. I'm not okay. I don't want small money. So it depends on what you want, but you must desire something. So it's not everybody that will be like me that is hungry for big money. Some people will tell you, I don't want more. I just want one bungalow. I don't want one bungalow. I want estates in my life. So if you want one bungalow, then decide what you want. Most people don't have any idea. They've not made up their mind on what they want. So they are not looking for anything. Anything will happen to them. Before you can convert your skills to wealth, you must have a desire to acquire wealth. When you desire to acquire wealth, then your eyes, but you will not make it into money because you are not looking for money. You will dash it out for free to everybody. Many comedians you go to Warri, everybody is a comedian.
Everybody.
But where is Bovi? How did Bovi come out of that place?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Some people just feel that this skill I have, I will convert it into wealth. Some people are artists. You will not see the wealth in your talent and skill if you are not looking for wealth. You will not see what you are not looking for. So for me, number one is for you to, this is what I want. I want to be rich. It's not, there's nothing wrong. It's not about pride. It's a legit thing for a human being to desire to be rich. It's not a human being get money. It's human beings that have it now. The money is not there for animals, it's there for us human beings. So desire it. Decide you want.
Wow.
On one hand, what can I trade for money? On the second hand, what do people want? So I think what is more important is, what do people want, and do I have what will meet that need? Right now, honestly, this is my personal journey at the moment. I know what people, farmers in this year, I've met with minimum 5 farmers, 5 big farmers. Aside from that, I have now been, every day I'm watching YouTube videos on farming, hydroponics farming, aquaponics farming. I'm doing animal husbandry, planting, rice. I'm just researching. Why? What I did first was to find what is the problem. What skills do I have that can help me meet the need? So if you look at the problems of humanity, we have abundance. In recent times, the age of depression and psychological problem has led to increase in number of you have, and find a way the skills you have will solve those problems for people. And when you are able to marry your skill with a problem, then you have entered money. That is already existing in the market.
True.
And you marry it together, then you have already found the key to money. It's not going to be magic. It won't just fall on your head like that. But you have found the key, and then you will start breaking it down, and you will start making the money. But it is key for people to understand that there is a problem out there, and your job is not to look for solutions. It's not to be pushing a product. Goal is to find what you need and find how my skills can meet your need, and then I can start making money.
Ooh, powerful. On Facebook, Balogun Temilade says, yes, so no more national cake. This woman is all rounder. Love your way of speaking. Adio, that's why she's called a TMO Speak. And we all just type up TMO Speaks. Everybody just type that up TMO Speaks. Okay, so those of you who don't know how, you can follow her at TMO Speaks on Instagram. She has amazing, inspiring content. Okay, so go ahead, follow her right there. I'm waiting for some of your comments or questions rather. If you have any questions, go ahead and type. So I want to ask, yes, go ahead. You want to say something?
Before they put in the questions, I did something before coming. Know what they have. You see, because no human being came empty. Person in the minimum has one. All of us have more. So, and the way God works and the way the universe works, when you do well with what you have, more will be added. When you don't use what you have, it will wither away. So
True.
So,
True.
like if I don't use this hand, after a while, the hand will grow lean, the muscles will lose. Every human being has talent. Whether you are, so some people are so talented, they can draw.
Yeah.
You just give them a pen and paper, and they will sketch a full human being. That is their talent. When they don't like the person, some will sit down and take knife and a piece of wood and cut right now. Know somebody that would drive through a road 100 times and will still be getting lost. They don't have special intelligence.
Yeah.
Special intelligence is a talent. I have one in my house. Every time my husband is driving, we will go like this. He will come back and say, turn left. That way.
Yeah.
No special intelligence. They don't have it. It's not their talent.
Yeah.
But that same person can have mathematical intelligence. Naturally, any number you give him or her, he will add it together.
Yeah.
They are talents. Your own responsibility, in order not to lose your talents, is to work and build those talents. And I don't want people watching to miss that opportunity, because the key human relationship management is a talent. Your capacity to build relationships, it is a talent. So people just have it. They know how to nurture relationships. They don't think about it. It just comes to them.
Yeah.
Some people are critical thinkers. If you tell them A, they will tell you, what about option A, B, A, C, A, D? Like, oh, I just wanted A. They will critically analyze it. It is their gift. It's not any schooling. It's not anything. Those people are fantastic consultants. They will make fantastic consultants, but they have not seen it. They have not seen that opportunity. And I don't want people to watch and there's nothing that is not a gift. Nothing. I saw a man that won $14,000 from National Geographic for taking picture of birds in Namibia. In Namibia, he's taking picture of birds, and he got $14,000 grant. Graphic. So those of you photographers are looking for wedding. No wedding happening. Go and photograph nature. Go and photograph nature. If you really love photography, go and photograph nature. Go and photograph animals. You can create a documentary photographing shoes. I told somebody this thing. It was like a revelation. The guy said, and do a documentary about the stories of, use the shoes to tell a story. I'm telling you, innovation is what we are lacking. We have the talent in abundance. Just think.
Preach it. Preach it. Oh, preach it. Preach it.
So somebody is asking a question.
Yes.
Says, how can one golden muscle says, how can one conquer the fear of taking that leap?
Yes.
For instance, the thought of not getting acceptance. Facts. No matter how beautiful you are.
Yes.
Agbani Darego won Miss World. People will tell you she no fine. Wait till she find one dry bone. Wait till she find.
True. True.
If she was waiting for the acceptance of beauty in Nigeria, she did not meet conventional acceptance of beauty in Nigeria. She does not have the Manchester United. But she had the beauty that Miss World is looking for. You look for your crowd and face them.
Bridget.
So the challenge is that we keep looking at what we cannot control. If you watch from the beginning, I broke it down. Don't focus on what you cannot control. The thought. I've done my best. Since I've done my best, okay, I go on. Do your best and leave the rest. Do your best and leave the rest. Do your best and leave the rest. So I think that, let me tell you something, on a more serious note, the fact is that risk-taking is a talent.
Yeah, preach it.
Is a talent.
Preach
But,
it.
like every talent, you can build it as a skill.
Yes,
so
you can build it as
you can decide, because when you study every successful person, they launched out without knowing what is going to happen. So if you want to launch out, so if you are worried about, I'm scared, maybe it is not your natural talent. For me, I'm a risk taker. If you call my husband, what's the biggest problem he has with me? You say, talk where he stop. I will say, anyhow. Or let's try it. That's my own wiring. But not everybody is like that. Some people, by nature, and I will tell you, let me every risk possible. And you will have a plan for every option possible. There is plan A. If plan A fails, there's plan B. If plan B fails, there's plan. He will plan everything. That's his nature. That is a strength.
True.
Don't see it as a weakness.
True.
But it's not a weakness.
Yes.
You know? And you can now work on your ability to take risk.
Amazing. I have Majemu _ America. It says, who is? Okay, don't worry. I mean, we will be hosting a lot more. Don't worry, you will. I never saw this side of her. I only know the interview. We have Locke carve out for oneself. For me, I love leadership development, and I'm also venturing into real estate. So how do I make my audience not to get confused about my brand? I will add a thing or two on this, but please go ahead.
I think that the two of us talking, I'll tell my audience, don't confuse yourself. I am all and I am more. I am all and I am more. Question you.
True.
So if you are a competent leadership development expert, when you open your mouth, they go, wow. Nobody will question you.
Yeah.
If you talk about real estate and you tell people about when you finish talking, they will not doubt you. So that idea of creating a niche is good, but it's also limiting yourself from doing all that you can.
Yeah.
You cannot.
True.
If you have the capacity to be a leadership development expert and you can as well do real estate well, you not using it is you losing it. So use what you have. Don't care about people getting confused. Dangote does not have one business.
True. True.
You understand? He never had one business. Yes, if you have the capacity to manage your time well and do multiple things, by all means, don't box yourself with niche. Then collapse and do one.
Yes.
And master one. Master one before you move on. But if you can create the time, you don't envy the person that can do one thing alone. I am a speaker. I do events. I host events. I speak at events. But that's not the only thing I do. And I will not say because I want to be branded, I will now box myself as a speaker alone. When I know that if you put me in a place to talk about entrepreneurship, I will break it down. When I know that if you that how to over-convince them with the level of competence I have in all my field of influence. So that's what I'll ask you to do. Display your influence about. He knows these onions. So you cannot tell me that he should niche. He should niche or what?
Awesome, fantastic. I think she's just killed it on this one. One of the things that I also want to advise you is at the beginning, if you don't have all the resources, you want to focus on one and grow it. I for example, focused on bulk SMS until we did over 100 million, and we had resources to now employ people and diversify. The point, you have access to network resources to be able to then stretch into other things. I have a question. Time is never a friend on this show. It says TMO, this year I wanted finding a location for our tutorial. With the pandemic, we advertise our brand on social media using just mathematics alone for now to teach a topic per week. But we have gotten more prospects than clients. What do
experience? People will make inquiries, but they will not buy. So when we first started the agri business, what we started was of taking eggs. So I went on Instagram, I'm like, all people begging me for money. You beg me for money, come and do business, come and sell eggs. All of them say, yeah, we want to sell eggs. They came. The next thing, come and order. Come and order. They say, CMO, would you give me some eggs? Let me go and market, then I will come back. Or you are marketing to the wrong people. When you understand your brand, the people, your demography, and the psychography of the people that you want to meet, when you understand who they are, you will speak their language, they will buy from you. So what I realized was that I was marketing to hungry people. They were money, so that they would find hustle. So hustlers came to me, and they did not have the money to buy the products. So what I said, when I want to go back,
we have 40 seconds to go. Instagram ends every. Adora says I've been following TMO, but today I doff my heart for you. Even me, I don't doff my own for her. You know. So guys, come back again. Come back again. Don't go anywhere. We're starting this all over again so that we can take more. Maybe then we can take another 20. Only TMO, she has blown our minds away. Like, help me type your hand something again so that I could just pin it. Just type something so I could pin it. Guys, as you guys are as the best speaker. You know.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
so please go ahead with the last.
So like I was saying, I think that one of the things we do, and it's okay,
Yeah.
it's normal, it's part of life. Failure is part of our in people that are prospecting but not converting to your clients. It means you might need to confirm, am I pushing my adverts to the right people? Because they might be interested, but they cannot afford it.
True.
Also, partnership. Find other people that are already successfully doing this business and find a way to market your own business to them. That way you can jumpstart into having clients that will now recommend you. Because the best way to move your kind of business is through every business to sample your service. Or if you have a product, then you can now start having return and expansion in terms of recommendations. So change your marketing language, understand who your audience is. Your audience is different. If I'm a furniture seller now, and I'm selling people that their entire marketing, but their entire house, they don't have anything over 100,000 naira. They will like my furniture. They will like it. They will even comment. Beautiful furniture. Wonderful. They will ask you for price. Once you say 500K, they will say, okay, ma, this is so wonderful. And then they will not come back again.
They will even say, how do you expect me to get that kind of money? How do you?
So,
I think it's your business.
Don't think that as just position yourself and talk to the right people.
Amazing, amazing. This is powerful. Come on, guys, just type powerful, powerful, powerful. I hope we will not ruin your makeup. Wait.
It's okay. There's too much energy.
Not so Ray Rehoboth School says this is the second time this word partnership is coming up today. Yes, yes. The Dr. Ife Sekibo of Heritage Lab talked about it. It says, wow, we need to work on one of the person pitching, trying to get a grant also. Amazing. Let me also check on Facebook if you have questions for those of us. Again, if you have questions, just ask. Since we have a few more times to the world is about to come to an end. The world is about to come and end. The fear factor that is going around now.
I say that let me just I don't take it serious. I don't agree with it. What I would say for the fact is fear is a very unresourceful state to be in.
Yes.
Very, very unresourceful. You're in that place of fear. Your creativity trapped with fear. They have used it to trap our forefathers. They will not build a bridge over a river. They will be worshiping the river because the river killed people. Don't let fear trap your mind. It traps people's mind. It numbs their capacity to entertain it. Oh, it's a polygamous home. That shop, there's a demon there. On this one, 5G. I'll tell you, take it out of your mind. Anything that is going to put fear into your space, into your spirit. Let's do it. I don't succumb to that. So for me, the goal should be that you must not let fear inhabit your spirit.
Yes.
You mustn't inhabit your life because it will blind you to the opportunities of this moment. And there are countless opportunities. So 5G is a technology that many businesses would succeed with, but you would lose if you are letting the fear of 5G.
But Balogun, thank you, TMO. I will follow you right away.
Go.
Be ready. You be ready to have many fans follow you today. Like they are like, who is this person? The other person that did that to me today is G Mike. Like I literally was like, who? Are we sure this is G Mike? The guy. G Mike is somebody else. Everybody like, is this G Mike? I think that it decided to come out in your video because when we interview in between the breaks, he would just be giving. When we now come live, he will not show us another angle. I'm like, why are you not showing us this in between the break part of you? But that's the way it is. Nobody succeeds without having something upstairs. Even the runs girl, even the runs girl that blow has to have something upstairs. If you don't have something, you cannot have phone. You need to buy attachments. Any runs girl that uses the money she makes from doing Aristo to build house, clap for the person. She's a smart girl. This one will trend tonight. Somebody is asking, what do you do if you are taking a loan? I think maybe about those who took loan. And I wonder, I'm trying to look for that question again, but we've had so many questions.
Okay, please, can you talk about borrowing loan to maintain your business? In this season, don't do it. This CBN loan is very juicy.
Yes.
Except you are in food. Talk about the fact that your business was meeting a need, and the need must be pressing for people. If the business you want to take a loan for, insult on injury or assault on injury, you are worsening your condition. So as it is right now, your business might be having crisis, but at least you don't have a loan on your business. But if your business is not in the essentials, if your business is not in an industry where there is pressing need, imagine if your business is producing chloroquine right now. Well, I'll tell you, Seth, go and borrow more money to produce chloroquine. The whole world is looking for a ventilator. Go and collect money for ventilator. But if your business is not in the eye of major crisis, then just stay off loan and find innovative way to source for money from family, from friends, and all of that. Don't take a loan, please.
Wow. Something. Is that true?
Yeah, I was on the show Monday and Tuesday. You see, because of this COVID-19, and I try to do my time together so that I have time to do other businesses I'm looking into.
Okay. Dayo Israel, good to see you.
Yes, I saw him.
Yeah, he's saying hello. I think it's greeting you. Izo clothing a little confused as to how to start the biz. What's your advice? I will appreciate it.
Okay, don't do nose mask. I would say that fashion would have a bit of a door right now because people are saving their money for other things. That's the fact. Many already established fashion designers are, if you have the benefit of good relationship, you can decide to do a bit of nose mask, but that's not a long-term business strategy. For me, my advice to you would be look at the needs people have. So if there is any need people have now, it might be protective clothing, like a coat. Many people would want a coat or something that will cover them while they are working. You want to understand what your strengths are. I'll be unable to tailor an advice to you. But one thing I'll say is fashion would have a bit of every shrink. So because that market space is shrinking and you are just entering the market space, you would feel a bit of struggle finding your footing there. But if you had good relationship with people, they will patronize you not because of your skill, but because of how much they like you. So in every business, relationship counts. It is a talent, but you can build that. My mentor, Nia Desaya, will say, Eba, the emotional bank accounts, you must deposit in the emotional bank accounts of people so that the day you have a need, they will remember all the things you've done for them.
True.
So for now, what you might want to do is to go and serve in the school you were trained at. Serve that woman or man that trained you. Go and look for a fashion designer that is successful and work for the exposure. You need to study without carrying the financial burden of starting up your own business. The best way for you to do that is to work for somebody else. They might not employ you with a fee right now, but you will benefit from how they navigate this crisis and you will get better from it.
Ooh, lovely. Come on, guys, can you all type lovely?
Thank you.
Lovely. Come on. Pandemic. Let me add to that. Dr. Sekibo has said that CBN has asked all banks to give 1 year. Yes, 1 year grace. Though if there are evidence that write the bank, explain to them, so at least coming from a CEO of the bank, so I think that is a solid advice. So, but you need to approach your bank, show them that you are affected, and then you should be.
You don't get because you have not asked. It's in the Bible. You have not because you asked not.
Yeah.
So it applies even with your relationship with your loan managers. Whether your loan is from an official bank or from your friends or your neighbors and all of that.
Yeah.
Don't wait for them to ask you for the money. Reach out to them and tell them, I'm sorry on this because of so and so. I cannot finance this loan now. Well, number two, as a business owner, I believe every business owner should have negotiated with their landlords. But I found that they didn't. Many people didn't. So now, April has gone. You did not open your shop throughout April, but your rent is gone. In the very minimum. Yeah.
True.
So maybe your rent should have been due by June.
True.
Your rent will now have till July. You must be willing to ask. Legitimately, you have need for help. It's not a matter of begging. It's a matter of you need that help. So talk to your bank, talk to your landlord, negotiate with these people, tell them, for now, I'm having this financial. And if you don't tell them upfront, you will just see a debit. You will receive alerts. It's not their fault. They're not wicked. They run a business. So before you get the alerts, send a message to your bankers, send a message to your people, and communicate with them all through the process. And I'll pray that God will give you wisdom, because really alone in this season is a major sad thing.
Capacity is encouraging. Dayo Israel says, I'm a TMO fan. Oh,
thank you.
Always be inspired each time I listen to you. Good to know that. Men's Matters says, please, one more thing. A business name that is registered for clothing. Can the name be used to open a restaurant? Because
okay, so honestly, personally, I don't have the answers to that question, honestly. But I feel that it's nomenclature because I know that description is your business. Because I know what's this lady's name? I know people who have registered their business and in the same name they've used it to do multiple businesses and nobody held them accountable for it. So, but from the legal perspective or from the CAC
what I advise is there's nothing wrong with, you do not need to register to use a registered name as the name you use to operate the business. For example, we had operated GTEX Homes, which is a real estate company, under GTEX Media and Investment Limited until last year when we decided to say, let's separate that, and we just registered GTEX Homes. Same way GTEX Farm has operated long until last year before we said, no, let's separate. So are not yet registered. But it's only when it comes to bank transactions that you have to give them the name of the account to pay to as the old one. But you can create a new name because you need to at least have done some good volume before you register it separately. Else, it becomes issues of tax and you just will give yourself some issues. So if you've done enough volume, you can then over time, register the new name, but you can start using
because of what let me just quickly say something.
Yes.
You see, people quickly rush to register business as limited liability. You have not sampled your business. You have not tested the concept. You just have an idea. Your first goal is to go and register limited liability business. That is very, very. When your company does not, your entire income in 1 month, in 1 quarter is not 100,000, but you are limited liability. You go to the point where you are making journey, being a
powerful. Everybody said,
I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, we've had a great time, guys. We just have to.
I want to say, if we are rounding off, let me round off on this note.
Yes, please.
Believe that grace comes upon the work that God has already finished. So, whatever your religion is, it is pivotal for you to have a relationship with what we planned. So, for many people, 2020 has turned out the way they did not expect it. You have the right to go back to your creator and ask him, with this current reality, how else can I re-strategize my life to align with what you have told me is my blessings for this year? So we mustn't overthink our processing and strategy and ignore God. There's a God factor. I tried, but it just worked. That is God. So you mustn't ignore him as you are hustling and running around. So I would want to end on the note of develop that personal relationship with God, seek him to direct your path. And at the end of the day, no matter how bad it gets, children of God will not go hungry. They will not suffer. We have God's word on that.
Whoa. That's all I can say. Whoa.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless you, sir.
Thank you
I really
for
appreciate
coming.
you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to your people and my people and everybody that gets to watch this. I don't take it for granted. I pray that God will continue to increase you. You will continue to shine. Your life will continue to inspire all of us. keep on doing what you are doing.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. is going to be great. We're having a lot tomorrow also. Like I told you, 9 a.m. We'll still be streaming across all platforms, but tomorrow is going to be great. Tomorrow is the last day. You don't want to miss it. We're also going to be having a panel on family finance tomorrow. We're having the chief strategist of Heritage Acts. We have Frandonga also tomorrow, hopefully. Several great speakers tomorrow. Tomorrow is loaded. Remember,